Good morning, good morning, good morning, all of you. Welcome to Twisted Tragedies, where we follow all the twists and turns wherever they lead. I am your host, Elise, and welcome on this Monday morning. Okay, so I honestly feel like at this point, as a grown adult, you would know that playing games with the court is not a freaking smart idea, right? Like, it's just not normally a smart idea. Okay. Well, someone thought it was a smart idea. Hold on one second. Let me grab my coffee. Hold on. I left it in the other room. Hold on. Okay. So most people would know. My volume, is it too low? Let me hold on. Is it too low? Can you guys not hear me good? I've turned it down in the past because it was super loud. How's that? Is that better? Is that too loud? Is that better? You tell me. Um, well, that, right? Not a smart idea. Here's where you go wrong when you do shit like that, okay? When you're 44 years old and you know you have a court date coming, okay? He has played this game before. This is where it bites him in the ass, folks. He tried this over 6 months ago when it came to the civil case he had with Ryan Waters. I will prerequisite this with telling you that I am in contact with the victim all this morning, last night. Um, so here's the thing. The court now knows, thanks to me, that he tried this game already, the I wasn't served game, as he was actively talking about it. He did this over 6 months ago in the civil case here in Massachusetts with Ryan Waters, where he claimed he wasn't served because he left his ex-wife's address as his address in the court system instead of changing it to the address he's at to avoid being served and getting court paperwork. That's how. So he did this already and claimed over 6 months ago that he wasn't served. So that's why he didn't show up, even though he was literally talking about it on his live stream and saying how he was not going to show up, right? So he tried that in the Massachusetts courts and said, I was not personally served, right? Yeah, see, the problem with that is that your attorneys, A, are fully aware. B, it's all over social media. C, you commented on it. And D, you tried that over 6 months ago with the court system. You had an obligation to change your address in the court system to where you moved, especially at that point where you weren't being served because your address was still your marital home or your ex-wife's home now. So the court system in New Jersey is not going to play that game. And because I gave them that case and showed them where it was located and that he attempted this already and still did not change his address, that is on him. Because his lawyers were well aware of it and they can look in the system at any point after they were made publicly aware of it. I posted part of the documents. Some other people did too. I still have more documents that I've not posted and I don't have permission to yet. but you can't keep playing the I wasn't served game over and over when you refuse to change your address with the court system. The court takes that as you trying to circumvent the law and as you kicking them in the fucking balls. So judge, not happy. Okay. That's how that goes. I mean, you couldn't be any stupider by playing that game. Now, most of the time, that's what your lawyer will say, though. Oh, well, you weren't technically served, right? So you don't have to go and then we'll just say you weren't served. The problem with that is that works for a private person or someone who hasn't attempted to try that already over 6 months ago. Because then at that point, you did it in the court system. Now you're alerted to the fact that you need to change your address in the court system. If you did not change your address in the court system, you do not get to keep playing the I wasn't served card because you served it to the wrong address. When you are fully aware at that point, you have to change your address with the court so that they have the correct address. You cannot just keep playing the I wasn't served game. The court doesn't go for that. You get one try with the I wasn't served game because I moved. If you do not change your address with the court system, after you've already played that game, you don't get to play it 5 more times. That's not the way it works. The court system doesn't find it funny. Like, because even your attorney will say to you, like, well, if you weren't technically served, don't go, and then we'll get another date, like try to drag it out, basically. The problem with that is, again, that would work for someone who's more private, right? It doesn't work for someone who I'm sure he did not inform his attorneys that he had already tried that in a civil case here in the state of Massachusetts over 6 months ago, after he had moved out of his marital home already. So that's not gonna, it's not going over well with the court. They don't appreciate the games. Okay. You're wasting their time. You're wasting the victim's time, all to play a I didn't get served game. Now, here's the thing. Even if they have his marital home, well, his ex-wife would have gotten the paperwork. She would have called him. She would have told him. So the whole, like, bro, all they have to do is really call your wife and ask under oath, your ex-wife, and ask, and you think she's going to lie? Because I don't think she's going to lie. They won't go that far. He already tried to play the I wasn't served game here in Massachusetts over 6 months ago. He did not change his address with the court system. He was publicly aware of the date. His lawyers were aware of the date. The courts aren't going to play that game. They're just not. He won't be arrested. It's a civil, it's a civil order. So there won't be any arrests. He wasn't going to be arrested. And unless, he might have been scared to go too, because if they decided to issue the criminal complaint while he was there and just arrest him on the spot, that is something that they do, then could have been a reason why he was too afraid to go. But New Jersey is not playing games with him. And now, because they are fully aware of him not showing up and trying to play the I wasn't served game when he's already played that in the Massachusetts court system, they now have a record, and they know where to look now. And so the judge is looking at that right now. So don't play games with the court system, bro. It's not a game. It's not funny. It's not ha ha ha. They don't like it. They don't appreciate it. They just don't. Judges do not like when people try to circumvent the law, because you're basically spitting in the judge's face. They don't like when lawyers do it. They don't like it when defendants do it. They certainly definitely don't like it when you both do it. They don't think it's cute. They don't think it's funny. Here's the thing. If I was him, I wouldn't have went anyway. Okay? What's his argument? I didn't do it. Well, the evidence is there. You did. So what's your argument going to be? Please, Your Honor, do not extend this order so that I can continue talking about this lady publicly, so that my minions can go and harass her further with my dog whistles. What's your argument going to be? First Amendment, I'm a journalist. I get to, use dog whistles. Like, that's been rejected by the court here in Massachusetts. They say First Amendment is not an argument for your bullshit. The judge already put that order out. So that happened months ago. Did you think it was going to fly in New Jersey? Come on. Bottom line is, the order would be extended for a year. Regardless if he went or didn't go, in my opinion, it would be the same. The order would be extended for the victim. I don't hey, thank you. Appreciate you. I dyed it a while back. My roots are actually coming in. It's time for me to touch up said roots again. You know, it's hard getting old, guys. It's hard getting old when your roots start coming in gray. Apparently he tried to say something wasn't him, but it's like, bro, I have the court documents. It absolutely 100% is you. I literally talked to the victim. The fact that you're trying to even play the whole "it's not me" game, I don't get it. I don't know if he's saying it's not him, because there was something else somebody put out that wasn't him. It was another Aiden Kearney about something completely different in New Jersey. So I don't know if that's what he's referring to. This civil order is him. It is him. And the criminal complaint that the victim put into the court to see if the DA would pick up the charges is him. Now, those charges have not been issued yet. That's in the DA's hands, and in the court's hands to find out if they're going to prosecute it or not. So, you know, hopefully we'll find out sooner than later whether they're going to or not. But the criminal complaint was issued to the court. So this civil complaint is 100% him. The criminal complaint that she put in, 100% him. Right. And I was when a bunch of people were like, I can't find it on the New Jersey website. And it's like, this is what you get for trying to be like a criminal sleuth or a civil sleuth or a law sleuth without knowing what you're talking about. You're not going to find someone's restraining order. There are certain things that are protected. Sexual assault paperwork, whether it's a police report or court papers, those are usually protected. Things about minors are usually protected. Sometimes restraining orders and DV orders are protected. It's not usually something you can just look up because there's victims' names on it and they have a level of protection, right? So when people are like, I just can't find it in the system, I'm like, for the love of Jesus Christ, I've never met so many people that have no idea what they're talking about a day in my fucking life. Okay. Well, it wasn't that he did it in New Jersey. It's that the victim lives in New Jersey. So when he decided he was going to, you know, cyber stalk, harass, and use dog whistles against this woman, she lives in New Jersey. So that is where she filed for an order against him and then filed a criminal complaint for him to be charged with cyber stalking, cyber harassment, which again has not been issued yet. So there's no docket for it. There's no technical charge for it yet. It's a criminal complaint, which gets issued to the court by the victim. And then the court and the DA look it over and decide whether they're going to charge or not. But the criminal complaint went to the court. So I don't know. We'll know at some point whether they decide to issue that criminal complaint and charges that go with it, or whether they decline to prosecute. But as of right now, this morning, he is supposed to be in New Jersey for this civil order against him from the victim. Her name is Donna. I have spoken with her in a length. Yep, it was for it's basically New Jersey's like equivalent of an HPO, like a harassment prevention order, basically. That's basically what it is, the equivalent of it in New Jersey. It's called like a TPO, TR, whatever it is, but it's basically the equivalent of like a non-harassment order, basically here. And so I don't know why he thought playing the whole I wasn't served game was going to work out. Especially when you've already played that with the court before. Like you would have to know that if you've already played the I wasn't served game because I moved and you guys didn't send it to the right address, and then you didn't change your address with the courts on purpose to avoid paperwork like this, it's only going to work once, sir. One singular time, one time. You can't just keep saying, oh, well, I wasn't served. I knew about it, but it wasn't actually served, so I don't have to go. You didn't change your address on purpose. That's not a game, you know? Well, here's the tricky part. In Massachusetts, technically, because it's a civil order, it doesn't actually violate the bond. It does and it doesn't. So here's the thing. I don't usually see Massachusetts revoke a bond for a civil order, something like an HPO. or even sometimes ROs. So, you know, it's not gonna be like, oh, the order, because the order was already issued temporarily. It was already issued. This is like the same thing as like if you went and got a restraining order here in Massachusetts, you would get an emergency one, right? And then you'd have to go back within 10 days to the court to get it approved to be extended for a year, or not approved, one or the other. And so you get the original or emergency order issued, and then you move on to whether it's permanent for the next year or not. Same thing here. The emergency order was issued. Okay. I'm fully aware of what the law is. I'm very fully aware of what the law is. I'm also aware of things that you guys are not, like direct messages that have been going on for quite some time. It also does not take, the law also doesn't say that the cyber stalking or harassment has to be only one person. It's a pattern of behavior over time, which she absolutely has, not only privately, but publicly. And she has been provided with information privately, evidence privately, from a bunch of other victims of his. So yeah, it is a crime, period. It is a crime. And cyberstalking absolutely can be back and forths on the internet. It does. I mean, do you realize, like, there are state laws and there are federal laws? Cyberstalking, cyber harassment is a federal law as well. It's a federal crime. A federal crime, not just a state crime in some states, but a federal crime. If you go back and forth with someone and your intent of doing this is to annoy, harass, intimidate, it's cyber stalking. Period. You're announcing their entire name, where they live, giving dog whistles. Like, there is no argument that what he does isn't cyber stalking, because that's just not true. Zero argument to the fact that what he does isn't cyber stalking. Anybody who has been a victim of it, and just the private messages alone are pretty freaking heinous, all right? There's a lot of shit that some of you guys have no idea about. And it's really sad at this point that you can't pick up the pieces that have been put down. You know, like, there's no argument here that the man hasn't harmed a lot of people with a lot of lies. You can argue that until the cows come home, but you would be willfully ignorant or just simping for someone blindly because you, quote, like them. It's not a good look, dude. It's not a good look. Okay. It's not a freaking good look to just blindly defend someone. Because, and I said this to someone last night, because I honestly feel bad, right? I feel bad for all of these people that are like, Team Sewer Turtle, he's just a journalist who asked questions. Not only is that completely false, but you guys have no idea what he does in private. I do. You don't, right? Well, some of you do. But most of them don't, right? Most of y'all don't. And most of these people that sit here and just defend him blindly, or anybody who's in his circle blindly, is going to be very disappointed. And it's like, I don't say shit just to say shit. And if I could show you guys my emails and my inboxes, which obviously I would never do just to keep people's privacy, right? But if I could show you the amount of people who were like, Elise, I don't know why I didn't listen. Like, I should have heeded your warnings and everyone else's. Like, and what happens is they get sent something, some private something that they didn't know existed, that probably have had for a long time, of his, or like it happens directly to them, or they get sent, like I said, something private that some of us have had for quite some time. And they read it and they see it and they're like, oh, no, I have been not only blindly defending this person, but I have been saying they're not this type of person. They would never do something like this. And here they are doing this multiple times and laughing about it. What the actual F? And it makes me want to cry for these people, because so many of them have not only apologized to me privately, but are completely ashamed of the things they said and the things they did on behalf of defending him. And to think about all of the harm that we've tried to stop by just giving the warning and how many people just dismiss it. It starts to break your heart when you get on the phone with someone who is fucking sobbing because they are so ashamed of the things that they said and did, just blindly defending him or one of his very close cohorts. I can forgive almost anyone, right? I've gotten a lot of apologies, and specifically in the last couple of months, from a lot of people on the Free Karen Read side. And I have great respect for anybody who has the balls to say, you know what? I was wrong, and I'm going to attempt to reach out to this person to apologize. Most of these people had to contact someone completely different and have that person contact me to unblock them so that they could apologize. Okay? A lot of people have been hurt, even people on the Free Karen Read side. A lot of people. Okay? A lot of innocent people. A lot of people who are just in the way of a ticking Hiroshima bomb ready to explode. Right? And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that people did not heed the warnings that we gave. What really hurts me the most is that at some point come his trial, a lot of private shit's gonna come out. A lot. And 10 times the amount of people are going to feel really bad, right? Like really, really bad about the things that they said and they did to people they didn't even know based on his dog whistle or his hate or him saying someone was, quote, bad. Because I know the amount of people figuring it out right now, right? And apologizing right now. And feeling real shitty right now. More than 3/4 of those people, like not the ones who come to me and talk and apologize and have an adult conversation, but 3/4 of the rest of them, when they figure it out, they might tell someone privately like, oh shit, I figured this out and I don't want a part of this anymore. So basically they just disappear. They get off X, or they just never talk about it again. They don't actually get the balls to apologize. This is why I respect the hell out of the people, and there's been so many at this point that have come to me with apologies, because it takes some serious balls to be like, wow, I treated this person really badly for no real reason other than I was kind of told to. The amount of people who have admitted to me that it is a cult and that they did not realize it until they sort of were out of it and sort of like got a private piece of information that they did not know existed. And when they saw that piece of evidence, or pieces of evidence, they realized like, oh shit, this is not what they were told, and that they're defending something that's indefensible at this point. And so when you get the balls at that point to apologize, that's pretty big, especially when you have probably tortured someone relentlessly, or more than someone, a bunch of people relentlessly over nothing really, because someone else told you they're bad, or someone else said something and you helped spread that lie or that rumor about someone, in turn hurting them, right? It takes balls to apologize and say, hey, I was wrong and I'm really sorry and I feel terrible. Do I wish those apologies were public? Yeah, I do. Because I feel in a way that if you have the balls to apologize privately, and you had the balls to trash me publicly, you should have the balls to apologize publicly. Now, I'm not saying people have to, because I understand in a way why some people don't. They don't want to be attacked. They don't want to be trashed. They just want to clear their conscience and say they're sorry and understand going forward what the went wrong and how they could possibly be duped so good. But in turn, they don't want to be harassed, because if they come forward and say, I was wrong and I need to apologize to this person publicly because of all the things I said publicly, like, then they're risking their family being harassed by that same mob. That's really sad. And I hate to burst your bubble, Sarah, because I love all your stinking faces. But the FBI is looking into aiding. They are. They have been for quite some time. So they are wasting their time. They absolutely are wasting their time on him. And it's more than just cyber stalking and cyber harassment, but that is one of the things that they're looking into him for. And to be clear, the federal government actually has an entire task force right now dealing with cyber harassment. The DOJ for Massachusetts has an entire task force for cyber harassment right now, because there's so much of it. And because of what has happened with the Karen Read case, so many victims exist. So the federal government is wasting their time. They absolutely 100% are wasting their time. But that's also why regular stalking laws exist. Stalking also like cyber harassment and stalking, at least in the state of Massachusetts, falls under regular stalking. Digital and electronic means, it falls under our regular stalking laws. There doesn't need to be a huge period of time that passes to count for it to be stalking. If your intent is to harass and emotionally torture someone online by stating their full name, yeah, they did just indict someone. They indicted a bunch of someones for it. But I mean, it's sorry to, but the FBI is investigating him for that and a bunch of other stuff. So, morning, it's the reality of it, you know? Like, that's the reality of it, is they are. And again, if you think that it's just a online beef, then you're missing a whole lot here. It is not just it's not just two social media people having a beef with each other. That is not what is happening, nor what has happened. If that is your understanding of what the hell is going on, then you're missing quite a bit. That's not even close to what they're dealing with here. At all. Not by a damn long shot. You know? Yeah, it's not back and forth. And it's a pattern of behavior, not only over, since the Karen Read case, but this pattern of behavior existed long before the Karen Read case ever existed. Going back probably about 10 years. There's been so many, right? There's been so many. Like, Donna didn't deserve that. For what? For what? For what, realistically? Well, I mean, he didn't go to New Jersey. So there's that. He didn't go. I don't know what the task team is going to do. I mean, they're not just dealing with just their, this case. They have a bunch of other cases they're dealing with. It's not just, investigating him. They're dealing with, they put a whole task force together to investigate a multitude of cyber harassment and stalking cases, because they weren't being looked into when Mr. Levy was running it. So there's a backlog of quite a few victims who, needed that kind of, why do you think that guy who had been doing it for 9 years was just indicted in Massachusetts? That was something that Leah Foley picked up after Josh Levy sort of was forced out, that hadn't been looked into for a while. So they picked it up right away and started investigating it. And then he was charged. So they have a whole team going through dealing with cyber harassment, cyber stalking, and then other things stemming from that. They broke up weeks ago. Get booted from where? What are you talking about? As soon as you ask what? I'm confused here. NE Dasher. Booted from where and what? They broke up weeks ago. I mean, I highly doubt he gets away with everything he's done. I mean, in the state of Massachusetts, too, I think that he should have already been locked up a while ago, and that, you know, he's gotten away with some shit that he shouldn't have. Yep. And that some shady shit had been going on. 100%. Do I think he will get away with it all? No, not by a long shot. Not what I know now. No chance. No chance. No freaking chance. Yeah, more than 10 years. Christina's right. It's been more than 10 years as this shit's been going on. More than 10 years. I don't know what you mean by get booted. I'm confused. You're gonna have to clarify what you mean there, NE Dasher. Well, he did avoid service or attempted to avoid service. Either way, that's a civil matter. That's a civil complaint. I mean, a civil, like, basically it's like an HPO, but in New Jersey. And again, that's state. Why would the FBI be looking into something that's a civil state matter? I never said they were. That's a civil state matter. But when you collectively take her and a bunch of other victims, it becomes a federal issue. See where that then stems and becomes bigger? It's not just one person that the federal government is looking into, and it's not just one crime. It's a multitude. And he has tried to avoid service. The problem with that is he can't play that game again, because he already played it more than 6 months ago here in the state of Massachusetts for another civil case. So you can't say to the court over 6 months ago, oh, hey, you know what? I wasn't served because you guys are serving me at my old address. And the court's like, well, hey, you need to update your address. And then you never update your address with the court to avoid being served with anything else. And then again, you try to play the, oh, well, you know what? It's New Jersey, so they're not going to know that I already did this game in Massachusetts. Oh, wait, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They are going to know because people are going to tell them. You can't play that game again because it's your job to tell the court that you moved, especially when the court was like, okay, you say you weren't served, cool, but you need to change your address with the court. And then you choose to not change your address with the court again. You cannot then 6 or 8 months later say, oh, you know what? I wasn't served. You guys don't have the right address. You don't get to play that game over and over and over. It's not the way it works, especially because your lawyers were well aware and it was so public. Like, that's not the way it works. Not even, oh, you want to know why? Because he doesn't want to tell you guys. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to tell his viewers that they broke up. What do you mean? No. Like, he's not going to tell people that. So the fact that that's funny. The fact that you're getting booted out of live streams where you even ask that question should be the answer to that question for you. It should have answered it right away. They've been broken up for weeks. They've been broken up since before I went to Saco. That was end of July. So it's been quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, it's more than jaw dropping when you know all the private shit and you have all the, it starts to become something that you're like, this is disgusting. Disgusting. The mods boot you. Yeah, that sucks. Well, that's the thing. He doesn't want to talk about it. The mods boot you when you ask him about the break. Well, he doesn't want to tell anybody publicly. But I think if people are still sending, money to him and referencing their relationship, I think it's their business to know that y'all aren't together anymore. And if that wasn't already abundantly clear to people, I really don't know how much clearer it needed to be. Like, they're not together. Like, they broke up. That's not like a, secret. Oh, I'm friggin' sure they did. That doesn't surprise me at all. You know what? That's a good question. Why did he think that why did the Glazer, I mean, why did he think that, like, my Amazon wish list is content? I mean, are you that hard up for content that little old me's Amazon wish list is content? How embarrassing. Go over another case. Oh, wait, you can't. You don't know how to read a court document. Okay, have someone feed you oh, wait, I can't do that either because you don't understand legalese. Well, I don't know. Go over how to make a pizza. Guess you're pretty good at that, I heard. So, I don't know. I don't know. Well, few and far between do they ever actually go after someone for some of the stuff that we would like them to go after someone for, but they are looking into her for something. I don't know what it is, but I suspect it's conspiracy to witness intimidation, but I cannot confirm what specifically with her that they are looking into. I just know that they are. Well, I'll give you one guess, Emily. I'll give you one guess on why. I mean, it wasn't hard to see. The man can't stay faithful to anyone. To be in a relationship with that guy, and again, you guys have to remember, I'm friends with three of his exes. I am extremely close friends with, and he can't stay faithful. He just can't. And so imagine having to deal with someone that's constantly lying to you, right? And to be fair, I'm pretty sure he broke up with her, but that's not even the point. The point is, imagine dealing with someone's crap so much that they're lying to you, cheating on you, getting, boob pictures sent to them. Like, my husband would wake up with no, whoo-hoo. I would dare him. I would freaking dare him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine dealing with that 24/7 and not being able to trust your significant other. That would be hell. Because they're always doing something shady, or they're always lying to you about something, about where they are, about who they're with, and about mundane things, about stupid things too. And then you have to find out through other people and court documents and other things that you're being lied to all the time. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. You know what makes me so sick about this? Is that $20,000 is raised by people who actually believe that he was, quote, set up, that there was some grand conspiracy to actually, quote, set him up. No such thing happened. No such thing exists. And what are these people going to say and do when the court documents come out? Why do you think he stalls so much on his court case? It's because he knows once that stuff comes out at his trial, it is over. If he does not make a deal to make that stuff go away and not come out at a trial, and he goes for a trial, all that stuff becomes public. He does not want that stuff to be public. I promise you. I promise you. The amount of blackmail, threats, intimidation, and people like, oh, he can't be that stupid. He would never do that in writing. I'm here to tell you, not only are you effing wrong, the amount of things he puts in writing is fucking amazing to me. I have never seen so much of it so much blatant blackmail and threats in my life. He's bold, but he uses the same couple lines over and over. Do you know who I am? I'll make you Turtle Boy famous. You'll be more famous than Lindsay. If you don't go away and stop talking about me, if you don't disappear offline. Now, let me just throw this out there. Innocent people don't need to threaten people to go away and stop talking, right? Why are you trying to silence people, bro? Like, why are you trying to make them go away and stop talking? Newsflash, it's because he's not innocent, okay? There was no grand conspiracy to set him up, all right? He did all of those things on his own. On his own, of his own volition, and the story that he has been trying to spin to people all this time ultimately falls apart at that trial with his own text messages, with his own contents of his own devices, and the contents of other people's devices. He knows that. He's got to pinch every penny and dollar he can right now, because once all that is out, he knows it is going to blow up. And more than likely, he loses most of his followers. He might keep like a small core amount of people who will just keep defending even the indefensible, the really indefensible. But anybody with a conscience or morals or a brain is going to be like,
oh, we were not told that. That is, no, we were lied to. Oh, no, this is bad. Like, all of these people that are raising this money for him, thinking they're doing it like as a good deed, thinking that they're helping an innocent person out of a jam, and the justice system just screwing them. Like, listen, I'm all for helping someone who's innocent, and that is happening to. I have a case that we're going to talk about today that's exactly like that. And I'm all for helping when it comes to that. But when people are being lied to say it's that when it's not, come on, man. Come on. Like, that's not a thing. That is not a thing. It's not a thing. It's just not. That's not what happened. The lie about it's a grand conspiracy, Lindsay set him up, didn't happen. Did not happen. It's really sad. It is lame. It is really sad. Because all of those people who use their last dollars and cents to give to him thinking that they're doing a good deed are going to feel real shitty about where their money went and what it went to. It helped, or was going to help, a serial liar, an active narcissist, basically lie to people to get all this money for his, quote, defense, that he created. He committed those crimes on his own, of his own free will, in his own volition. There was no setup. Nobody set him up. There's no grand conspiracy behind it, right? And when everything is laid on the table, when all the cards are out, then what? How do you spin that? I would love to see how he's going to spin that, because at some point the spinning, you get dizzy, right? With all the lies, you can't keep track of them. I mean, if anybody was really paying attention, they would know that, like, his story changes a little bit almost every time. Like, each part of it's like, wait, last time you said this, but now you're saying this. That doesn't make sense. Last time you said that's not what happened. And what's so funny is, what most people don't even understand is, Lindsay's told the story a million times, and he agrees with 90% of her story. So it's like, how are you going to call someone a liar? The only part that he doesn't agree on is pushing her onto the couch. And he adds in the part where it must have been some vast conspiracy. Why? Because he got caught doing something he shouldn't have been doing. And instead of taking responsibility and saying, I shouldn't have went there, I shouldn't have done that, I apologize, I was angry, right? Instead of that, he goes, nope, grand conspiracy. I was set up. Now, if you go back more than 10 years, the man has claimed a setup before Karen Read ever existed. Let's just make this clear. No, claimed a setup and then actually set up other people numerous times. The evidence of that is out there, easily accessible for anyone to find. Yet they don't bother. They don't listen. They don't bother. They don't look. They don't check. They just believe whatever comes out of his mouth. I would like to see, when they see the text messages where he literally says, like, privately to quite a few people, he says specifically, like, oh, have you seen my followers? They're all horrible. They are ugly. And they'll do basically whatever I say. They'll keep sending me money even if I sit there and berate them. I can call them names and they'll still send me money because they listen to everything I say. I could tell them it was a purple cow in the middle of the street and they'd believe me. And I'm paraphrasing, but, like, when these text messages of his that he sends other people privately come out, where he's calling his followers dumb and ugly and gullible, and that they'll just keep giving him money no matter what he says or does that not show you who the man is? Because you would never catch something like that in my phone privately, ever. I say the same thing about my followers, my viewers, to anybody. And I appreciate every single one of them. Every person that comes and views, every person that hits a like button, every person that shares, every person that hits that subscribe button, every person that donates a single dollar or cent. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. I don't care how you look. I don't care about your past. I'm not judgmental. I don't give a shit if you were an addict. Welcome to my world. I've been sober almost 18 years. I don't care if you have PTSD or CPTSD or you're bipolar or you're blonde or you're, I don't care. Everybody is equal. Okay. And I appreciate my followers more than anyone could explain in words, because without them, where am I? Right? Without you all, there's no show, right? There's no way to get out important information that mainstream media will not talk about. There's no way to stand up for victims in a way that, not only do we have the education to help, but we have resources to be able to try to get the word out via social media to help some of these people. Like, there's no my show without any of you. His ego does not allow for that. Recently I saw a lady comment on something, and she was one of the people apparently that he berated for donating less than $5. And she was like, that's all I could give. And it's like, you're berating people for giving less than $5. I don't give a shit if they gave 99 cents. That's 99 cents they probably couldn't afford, but they felt in their heart enough to say, hey, I want to say thank you to you because I appreciated your show and I appreciated what you talked about and I liked it. So my appreciation is I'm going to give what I can, which isn't a lot, but it is a lot to them. To them, that's a part of their income they could have used to put gas in their car or milk in their fridge. And you can't appreciate that? You berate them for giving less than $5? I mean, that's floored me for a long time. But to listen to the woman, and I believe it was a woman, to read what she was saying was like heartbreaking. Like, she's supporting him, she's watching him, and then he's berating her for not sending enough money. I mean, that's that sort of egotistical, I'm owed it attitude. And that's the attitude that he's had for over 10 years. He thinks he is owed everything. Everyone else should F off. Nobody deserves anything. And if you get praise from anyone, if you get on a show that has, a lot of viewers or a lot of subscribers and he doesn't, he takes it out on you because he has had petty jealousy and he's got to make up a good reason, right? He's got to make up a reason to his followers about why you're bad. Hence the reason that was made up about SD taking the seat. That didn't happen. Just didn't happen. So they needed a reason. That was the reason. That's the reason they gave the public. Oh, she took a seat. She was being selfish. It was a reason to tell the public. The real reason was petty jealousy. That was the real goddamn reason. But he can't get out there and say, I'm mad because you told the truth and it got me caught in my lies. He can't say that, right? He can't say, sorry, guys, I don't like this person. This person is bad. We're going to put all the information and say what a bad person they are because I'm jealous. Can't say that, right? So he's got to come up with something else. And people are like, no, he's innocent. He's innocent. Lindsay set him up. First of all, A, Lindsay didn't set him up. There's no setup. B, let me ask you something. Has anybody's abuser ever actively admitted they did it? I just want to know. Just want to know. No? Maybe? No? Like, maybe? No, maybe? No? Interesting. Because I'm pretty sure people who commit crimes don't just go, yep, it was me. I did it. Come get me. Especially publicly. Like, come the fuck on, dude. All the people are like, but he would never. What do you think? He's going to admit it? He's going to get on and be like, you know what, guys? I did it and I'm sorry. Not going to happen. Of course he's lying to all of you. And it's like, it's sad because when the evidence comes out, I think there's a lot of people, because there's already a lot of people that really feel shitty about themselves, but I applaud those people that get the balls to apologize and change the way they're behaving and realize the way that their behavior is harming other people, because it takes some serious balls to admit you were wrong for that long and that some of the things that you were doing were harmful. And it's like, I'm not telling them like, hey, what you did is bad. Like, they are self-reflecting and saying, Elise, I said shit I would not normally say or do. Like, and that's when it starts clicking in their head that it's It's cult-like. And the amount of people who have come to me and said, I can now admit that people were right when they said it was a cult, because I did and said stuff that I would not normally say or do, ever. I mean, yeah, people don't usually realize they're in a cult when they're in a cult. It's usually when they get out. It's unfortunate. Because I think there's a lot of good people that probably get wrapped up in it, and there's a lot of missed opportunities. There's a lot of missed friendships, missed connections. Some of us probably have a lot in common with some of the Free Karen Read people. The only difference being that we don't agree on a case. And I'm not talking about the core, like, psychotic, members. I'm talking about just regular people who believe Karen is innocent and there was this grand corruption scheme. There are a lot of really good people there that just believe she's innocent, that got swept up in it and don't realize all the lies they've been told. And it's unfortunate because I think they probably have a lot in common with a lot of us, and a lot of missed connections because of all the vitriol and hate that has been inserted into this case. I think if anybody else covered this case, you could agree to disagree, but there wouldn't be so much hate and anger and trying to destroy people. Like, it's like middle school cliques. We're grown-ass adults. Behaving that way is not kosher, okay? It's not okay. I think the problem is they have dirt on each other. That's the issue, right? Like, that's the issue. Yeah, apparently I do, which is so ridiculous. Well, I mean, he has to. That's his bread and butter, right? Like, that's where he gets his money from. That's his bank account. If he doesn't, he gets attacked. So what is he supposed to do? Oh, he did way more than just cheat. The cheating, the lying, like, and ultimately I believe that he actually broke up with her, but nonetheless, dealing with all of that, like, eventually it was bound to happen, Everything is about his own ego, darling. Everything. Everything with the narcissist is always about their ego. And I'm sorry, but anybody who tries to claim the man isn't a narcissist clearly does not know what a narcissist is. He's on full display for everyone to see. Okay? At this point, I don't know why women would want his attention. What do you want? A pat on the back from him? I don't get it at this point. Like, at this point, knowing who he is, watching it all, why would you? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm sure he did. Let them see the text messages where he calls all these people fat and ugly and useless and worthless and dumb. I mean, to be fair, I need a dentist. I need, like, veneers. My abuser, so many times I have, like, chipped and broken teeth from the abuse. So I need a lot of dental work myself. I never hate on someone's dental because mine needs to be fixed too. Yeah, it's an insane amount, we don't know. There hasn't been a trial date set yet. Well, that too, ego, Adderall, and like thinking he's invincible. When he's gonna find out he's not. Oh, absolutely. Which is sad. That's sad, though. Do you know how many people are going to be very disappointed? Extremely disappointed. Extremely disappointed. It is. You're right. It is like most people's yearly income, or half of it, It doesn't surprise me, but it's unfortunate because I know how many of those people eventually are going to kind of know what's going on and really feel shitty about that. And then there are people who are just dumb. Like, there's going to be a bunch of those in every bunch, right? Like, well, that's the thing. They think they're donating to, like, free speech. They don't realize that free speech only applies to him, right? He doesn't want it to apply to anybody else, just him. He doesn't like everybody else's free speech. He only likes his own free speech. Number one. Number two, they don't realize there's no vast conspiracy. He's not been set up. There's no vast conspiracy. It's all a lie. They don't realize that, and they won't until his trial when all the evidence comes out, I don't know why on planet Earth anybody would think that I'm magically going to give documents to anybody about anything. I'll get right on burning all of my sources. Common sense. Come on now. That's okay. You're allowed to lurk, Francesca. You're allowed to lurk. Oh, yeah. It'll come out. The only way to avoid that truth is to cop a deal. The only way he can avoid all that stuff not coming out is to make a deal with the government. That's his only option to stop it from coming out. It's his only option. And even then, if the stuff that the government has doesn't come out, the stuff everyone else has will. Right? The only reason it's not right now is because there's an ongoing case, right? You don't jeopardize an ongoing case by putting stuff out there that the government has, right? That they're going to use probably. Well, I'm guessing. You wait until it's over, and then you release whatever wasn't released, or release, all of it all at once. So, I mean, he can cop a deal and avoid some of the stuff the government has that other people don't coming out. And some of that stuff is probably far more embarrassing, but he'll never avoid all of it because too many people have certain things. What happens is he gets into these private conversations with people or group chats, and he does them dirty at some point, or lies to them about something important, or he does something that makes them wake up and go, holy shit, I am not okay with that, and they get a conscience, but they're too afraid to say it to his face, like, I don't think we should do that, or I don't think you should do that, because they're too afraid he's going to send the mob to harass them and their families. But they get a conscience and they decide they're going to turn the stuff over. Nobody said he was smart, bro. Okay. Yeah, I mean, not a shocker. Not a shocker. But to be clear, I'm pretty sure all of his stuff has already been covered. All of his legal fees have been covered. So what is he raising more money for? Most people know the truth. It's some people willfully ignore it. I will make no mistake that some people just willfully ignore it because they do not want to just come to the realization that they were wrong. That's too hard for them to understand in their mind that they were wrong, right? They have been simmering from all this time, and if they admit they were wrong, that does not jive with what they've been doing all this time. So some people remain willfully ignorant and know it deep inside, but refuse to say it out loud or think it because, well, then that makes it real. Unfortunately. Mello was removed because he had personal communication. So basically, if Lindsay texted him and say hey, can you give me a call, or hey, I have this piece of evidence that I need to send you, where do I send it to? Having that type of personal, it's supposed to go through the advocate. So because he had that type of personal communication, it's a conflict of interest because he can be asked to be a witness to testify to the conversations that they had via text message or phone. So because he can be called as a witness, you can't be a lawyer in the case if you can be called as a witness. It's just the way it works. But that's basically that. That's it in a nutshell, basically, with that ruling. I can explain it. I can explain that. Well, that's the sad part, right? Is they're just believing anything, and that's, I feel terrible. Half the time I get on the phone with some of these people and they're in tears. And they're just like, I feel horrible, Elise. I feel so awful that I didn't see it. How could I have missed all of this? That's right in front of my face. And it hurts my heart to have these conversations with people and know how much they're hurting simply by being duped, right? They're lied to. They think they're supporting a good cause. They think they're supporting someone being screwed over, and ultimately they're the ones that end up being screwed over in the end, giving their money, their time, all to find out later on that it's not a good cause, it's a horrible cause, and then they contributed to that horrible person continuing to do horrible things to people. And coming to the realization that they helped support and raise money and say things to people that were not nice, if that's a hard pill to swallow for some of these people, dude. And I have to remind them that, like, you're human. We're perfectly imperfect as humans, right? We make mistakes. What you do now is what matters. What you do right now. So do you pick yourself up? Do you advocate for this kind of behavior to end? Right? Do you speak out and say, this is not okay? Do you try to help write legislation? Do you help support something else that's actively trying to stop this kind of behavior? Or do you sit on your hands and do nothing? It's up to you. But ultimately, the people who have been duped, when they end up figuring it out for one reason or another, they feel terrible. They feel awful. And if you're human and you have morals and you have feelings, you're going to feel awful. You're going to. That's just unfortunate. But just try to do better, right? Do better. Like, if you're one of those people and you haven't come forward to someone yet, and that's what you're feeling like, I'm sorry. I wish I could give you a hug. I'll give you a cyber hug from here, because the amount of people that I have talked to, the amount of people I have sat on the phone with while they bawled their eyes out, is ridiculous. Like, that amount of that should never happen. You know, one person, two people, three people. But when you're talking dozens and dozens of people, you start to realize how big this thing is, how big a machine of lies is, and how far it can go, how many people it can hurt. Some of these people didn't have the money to give. They gave because they thought this was a good cause. And realistically, they had to come to the realization that the good cause they thought they were supporting was actively going to harm other people. That's a hard pill to fucking swallow. You know, it's a hard pill to swallow. That's the other thing, right? If the man has been claiming victim for 10 years, that he's the victim of, you know, his stuff's hacked and it's always a conspiracy against him. If you go back before the Karen Read case ever existed, there are a multitude of times where he claims he was, quote, set up. 2 of those times he was actively setting someone else up and bringing fake evidence into court, which was then proven. Like, this is the person you're supporting. And most people don't know that. When I get on the phone with them and they tell me what they found out and what made them realize, like, what was going on, it's always a multitude of different things. But when I ask them about this stuff, like, did you know this stuff? And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, you didn't know? And they're like, no, I didn't know. And then I direct them to where all of the evidence is, most of the evidence is located to look at. They're like, this is so bad. And I'm like, but I've been directing people and telling people for quite some time where it is, how to find it. Like, it's there. Like, and also he admits to it. He admitted to all of it. So it's not like he was like, later on was like, nope, that never happened. It's all fake. He admitted to it. So it's not a question of, oh, it's because they love to be like, oh, it's fake. It's not real. Every time I put out a document or something, it's like, oh, it's fake. It's not real. If I put out a document or a text message, it is real and it's been confirmed. I don't just put shit up that's fake just to, like, rattle cages. I don't do that. And because I don't tweet every single day, most people on planet Earth know that I don't just put it out there to just put it out there. If I put it there, it's real. Like, you know? Oh, I'm sure. Raffles, tickets. I'm sure they raffled off some of the tickets, I think, because they couldn't sell the whole thing out or something. You know, but yeah, because because he could be a witness. That's why. Because he technically could be a witness. He could have to testify to those conversations that he had. So because he could be called as a witness, he can't be a prosecutor. You know, it's a conflict. Well, he definitely uses the narcissistic playbook. We don't do politics here because I don't like people to argue. I love all of you too much. And yeah, they will until they realize the shit that they did, you know? So I did. And what's so funny about it is it's so filled with fucking bullshit. It's not even funny. Like, it's literally filled with so much AI, number one, and just pure and utter bullshit. It's not even funny. And I'm like, do better, Richie. Do better. Like, I know you've been following around Aiden with that fucking camera since 2022 or 2023 when this all first started, but do fucking better. Okay? Do better when you know shit is bullshit and you still put it in a trailer called The Trap when you know damn well nothing was trapped. Okay? Nobody trapped him. He drove there and it had nothing to do with really the subpoena or the pregnancy. What he really wanted was to see in Lindsay's phone what she had said to Kate. That is what he wanted the most. That was what he was so fucking important for him to see, was what was said to Kate Peter. That's what he wanted. Okay? Make no mistake. Most of you know I'm friends with Lindsay, right? Like, I've seen most of the evidence against him. So it's amazing to me because I'm going to guarantee he didn't just hand over all of his devices and say, okay, Richie, you're going to do this video about me here. I want you to see it all. I want you to see all of it. The good and the bad. The stuff that doesn't make me look good and the stuff that makes me look okay. Lindsay has always shared everything with me, the good, bad, and the ugly, even things that don't make her look so great. She shared it all to be transparent, okay? There is no trap. He wasn't set up, okay? Didn't happen, bro. The amount of spinning you have to do to come to this conclusion that he was just set up. One of the reasons Karen Reed can't stand him, besides the fact that he tried to blackmail her once, and someone the other day argued with me, like, that didn't happen. Like, are you new here? Not only did it happen, but most of Free Karen Reed knows it happened. So I don't even know why this is an argument. Like, you must be new here. Like, you must be. Thank you, Ren. I appreciate you. You must be fucking new here. Like, that's not it. Like, well, unfortunately for you, Yvette, you'll never see anything that I have because I don't just give shit to random people on the internet. Isn't that amazing? I put out what I want to put out when I want to put it out. You could do the same thing if you get your own show. Isn't that amazing? I do have a lot. I have quite a lot. I have quite a lot. Sorry, not sorry. Just know that most of that is bullshit. That's a narrative that they spun into. Aiden's innocent. It was all a trap. Part of the reason Karen can't stand Aiden is because he keeps saying this thing. I got arrested for speaking out and for Karen Reed. Okay. One time Karen blew up on him. One time at band camp, Karen blew up on him and was like, bro, stop saying that. Why? Because he didn't get arrested for anything that had anything to do with Karen. He got arrested because he went over there, threatened, tried to blackmail, and emotionally tortured his ex-girlfriend for hours, making her allow him to go through her fucking device, okay? And writing notes on it about what he said to Kate, okay? But ask him what his notes were about. They were about Kate, okay? What she said to Kate as she was trying to actively get out of this volatile situation she was in and not have her children and her be harassed into oblivion, which is what ended up happening anyway, okay? But it is amazing to me the shit that people will believe because a certain someone said so, okay? There's no setup. Nobody was fucking set up. He did it of his own volition. He went over there because he wanted to know what she said to Kate. He wanted to see it. Had nothing to do with the subpoena. Nothing. And FYI, do you remember how he tried to call it a fake subpoena forever ago? There's no such thing as a fucking fake subpoena, bro. She got the subpoena. It was a subpoena. It was a grand jury she had to testify in. You guys forget that she's actually testified in these grand juries, right? Apparently you forget. And at that point, she was like, what? You guys are bringing me this subpoena now. Like, what do I do? Am I supposed to tell him? Am I not allowed to tell him? Like, how does this work? Right? This is the first time she's ever getting a subpoena in her life. She doesn't know, right? So she asks them, like, am I supposed to tell him? Am I not supposed to tell him? Like, I don't know how this works. And they're like, well, you can tell him if you want. She thought that maybe if she just told him, he would understand, like, I have a subpoena. There's nothing I can do. I have to testify. Maybe he would understand that she had to testify. No. Instead, he was more concerned about what was on her phone about Kate Peter. Give a shit about the fucking subpoena other than telling her she could throw her phone in a river and he'd hire her a lawyer and all this nonsensical bullshit. The threats, the fake accounts he had made before he went there that night. One with a picture of a child in it that he showed her as a threat. Y'all are blind if you actually believe there was some sort of giant setup to set him up. He did everything himself, to himself, of his own volition and free will. He did not have to go there that night. He chose to go there that night. And Karen's big thing was, stop saying you got arrested because you spoke out for Karen Reed. You didn't get arrested because you spoke out for Karen Reed. You got arrested because you went to your ex-girlfriend's house and did what you did, which had nothing to do with Karen. Come on now. Putting her child in that trailer, like, that's disgusting. The fuck is wrong with you? Adding shit in via AI, like, that's just misleading. Okay? And it's like, your narrative is bullshit and you know it. So what do? You make a trailer to double down on it. It's all a reason. It's all a way to, like, taint the jury pool, push fundraising efforts, because he's got to make every single dollar he can right this minute. If he chooses not to take a deal and all of that information comes out, he is royally screwed. Royally screwed. His income goes down by like 90%, which is what he did to everyone else who has spoken out about him. I don't make a ton of money, okay? I don't have secret people that send me money like Grant does. I run a small YouTube show, and because I chose to speak out about things like this, I pay the price. I pay the price quite a bit. So it's unfortunate, but anybody knows that if you choose to speak out, there are consequences to doing that. I've paid those consequences times 20. The amount of lies spread, the amount of rumors spread that people just believe about me and 100 other people is effing amazing that people would be that stupid. And I really feel for the people that will figure it out one day, and people who do figure it out and then contact me. I feel for those people because I'm the first one to get on the phone with them and let them know, like, they're only human. You're only human. You didn't know. Like, now, hopefully that you do know, you can do better. You can speak out. You can support someone who is speaking. You can do something, right, to try to stop this from happening to someone else, or to try to stop other people from being lied to. At some point, people have to start looking at the fact that every time something happens with him, he blames everyone else. No, it's everyone else. He never comes out and says, I probably shouldn't have done X, Y, or Z. Or, I regret maybe, doing this or this. It's my fault. I should have chose not to. I think people could respect that. But no, instead he doubles and triples down and blames everyone else. Nope, it was this one. It was this one. It was this one. And make no mistake, he'll throw anyone and everyone under the bus before he ever takes responsibility himself. Oh, I'm sure they were giveaways and raffles. It is, it's insane. If you'd like to donate to this channel and support this channel, there's a bunch of different ways you can do so. I didn't even remember to do this in the beginning, and I appreciate Ren's $4.99 super chat. The best way to donate is through Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, because that stuff goes directly to said small creator instead of going through YouTube, which takes like a month. They take their cut, et cetera, et cetera. But we have a link over in chat that if you don't have any of the donation apps like Venmo or Cash App or PayPal that's on your screen right now, you can click on that link that's in chat. It's also in the description of the video, and you can put in any amount you want, and you can use a credit or debit card. For those of you out of country, that link works. Revolut works for people who are out of country. PayPal works for people who are not in the United States. Cash App and Venmo, I think, are only in the United States. So, But we appreciate any dollar donated to the channel because that's how we cover costs of the channel and hopefully eventually make a little bit of a living trying to make a difference in this world, trying to do what's right and not what's wrong just for dollars and cents. The amount of people who will just do anything for 10 or 20 bucks is fucking amazing to me. Like, no. I can't imagine somebody sending me 20 bucks on Venmo and being like, you now need to do X, Y, or Z, or can you post this, this, and this, or can you say this? I mean, that's fucking insane to me. The amount of creators that do that, like, shame on them. Literally shame on them. I could never. Like, have some integrity, dude. Have a little bit. Like, have a fucking little bit. I mean, I don't know, like, somebody's going to roast him for an hour. Like, his ego can't take that. 2 days later, he's going to be attacking the person that roasted him. The hell? Never going to throw people under the bus. That's never going to happen. It's the troll's way of like trying to demand that I give things, or by being like, you give it to us right now, or it didn't happen. We see it now, or it didn't happen. Cool. I don't care what you think. You mistaken me for somebody who gives actual fucks about what you think. Troll. Sorry, troll. Don't actually care what you think. I don't actually care what you believe. I know it to be true. I know other people know that it's true. That's all I care about. I will release what I'm ready to release when I'm ready to release it. Whatever information that may be, I'll release it when I think the time is time to release it. I also don't do things, especially when it comes to victims, without their permission. So if I have things that they sent me, I do not release them without permission from them, because that's their privacy. It's their life. It's not mine. It's theirs. So sorry, not sorry. I don't burn my sources on a daily basis like the sewer turtle does by naming where they work or what they do for a living or where they hang out or live, because that's just burning your sources. And I will never burn anybody who comes to me with any information about anything. Sorry, not sorry. So if you're one of those trolls that's like, well, you show us or it didn't happen. Well, I guess in your mind it didn't happen then, because I will put it out when I'm damn near ready to put it out. Thanks. Have a nice day. Oh, you see those? Those were the last fucks that I gave. There they went. They're gone now. Whoop. Gone. They went. I mean, I'm sure he is, and that's why they try to appease him. Because if they don't appease him just a little, he could explode like a Hiroshima bomb. At this point, I don't think Karen cares, though. I don't think she cares, because she really just wants nothing to do with him further. Thank you, DJ. And also, I don't work on demands. That's yeah. See, if you knew me, you would know that nobody tells me what the fuck I'm going to do or when I'm going to do it. Not even my husband. Why don't you ask him how that works out? He'll tell you. He's going to tell me what I can and can't do. The fuck out of here. If you don't like it, that's too bad. You don't have to be here. Isn't that amazing? You can just click the button and out you go. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me too, Emily. I don't get it, I don't understand it at all. I really, really, really don't. Like, I agree. The truth is going to come out one way or another. It just is, Well, that's true. That's actually true, Jimbo. You are correct. You know he'll try to hide it, though. Try to hide the money. But it's like, it's called a record. They'll subpoena all the records of anything, Oh my God. I hate, listen, I make all sorts of typos all the time, most of the time because A, I have fibromyalgia, and B, I have arthritis. So I don't know why, but the keyboard on my phone is so freaking small. Okay. And so when I'm typing and my hands hurt or stiff or are shaking, the thing is like touching the one above it or below it or next to it. And I'm making all these typos and I'm like, I just hit send. I'm like, I don't even care. I'm not writing to my college professor, dude. It's the fucking internet. Type it, send. I'm not checking it. I'm not and I shut off autocorrect most of the time because it's fucking annoying. Okay. It's annoying. So don't worry. You're not writing to your college professor. And I am not one of those people that Gestapo's people for their spelling mistakes, because it's the fucking internet. I'm not your college professor. I had talked to Lindsay one time after I had done a stream on somebody she knew. I did a case on someone she was friends with that had passed away, and she had sent me a message to tell me how much she appreciated the way that I covered the case. And I appreciated that, because later on I got a message from that person who passed away's brother, and it's probably one of the most kind, amazing messages I have gotten from a family or friend of someone whose case I've done on this show. It was a beautiful message, and I will forever cherish it, because it was early on. And so that's actually originally how me and Lindsay were introduced to each other, was her actually thanking me from a case that I had done on a friend of hers that she had known before the person passed away. Nothing right now. He didn't go to New Jersey. So let's see. So they said, so it stays in place. The order stays in place. And now on the order, it says indefinite. So the order stays in place, and they will now serve him again. But the order was approved to be continued. And now on the order, the box that says indefinite is now checked off. Let's see. So basically, the court still allowed her motion, or her thing, and he has to call the court the day after they're going to serve him again, and he has to call the court the day after he is served, because now it's checked off as indefinite. Now, usually it expires, or like they give another emergency, couple days. They didn't do that here. They checked off the indefinite box for that order. So he definitely was served. He just likes to pretend he wasn't. All the cyber hugs for all of you. For all of you. Ugh, God, listen. I don't even want to get into that subject, because it would take me all of this show times 500 other shows to explain all of that to everyone. What I'll tell you is this. I am friends with Lindsay. I'm very close friends with Lindsay. She is a dear friend of mine. Okay. There is, hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to fix my headphones. They're like not cooperating with me right now. I will defend my friend until the end of time. Grant, unfortunately, has some insane delusions that he likes to try to tie people to when he doesn't like them. Me being one of them. So because I don't agree with some of the things that Grant says, I have now been added to the grand conspiracy of working for Kate and somehow being in some sort of conspiracy with her. Don't know, because I'm not friends with Kate. I don't talk to Kate. Haven't talked to Kate in over a year. Most people know that. So no friggin' idea what the hell he's talking about there. Now, here's the problem with Grant, is he takes a little bit of actual truth and sprinkles it in with a bunch of random debunked conspiracy theories that are actually not true, but part of what he wants is a narrative. So they sort of get twisted together. And that's not good, because then people can't get the pieces of truth out, because they don't know what's truth and what's just nonsense conspiracy. So yeah. I mean, also, to be fair, if most of you who are on X know that yesterday, I put out a screenshot of a text message that was between Meredith and Aiden when they were breaking up, that someone sent me. And a couple other people, including Grant, had that, and then they took it down. Now, why? Why would you take it down? It's weird. Why would you take it down? So I'm like, why? Why was it taken down? Come to find out, Meredith contacted people and asked them to take it down. Hey, Hey, B Tim, I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your $9.99 donation. You tell me when we can squeeze you in to come on one night and we'll do a night show, because you know we got a lot of cases we got to talk about, and you're always at work during the day. So I figure we could squeeze you in on like a 5 o'clock or a 6 o'clock show one night and do something. Also thank you to Ren for earlier. I appreciate you. So I mean, I don't think there's a one way to sort of, you know, explain Grant. But hey, Holly, but what I do know is, here's the thing. People took it down. Meredith wanted them to take it down. Now Lindsay posted the screenshots of that in my tweet from yesterday in the comments. So she posted those screenshots of the conversation that Meredith had. Oh, my QR code. You're right. I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. That is so you can get memberships to the channel, folks. Murder by Maestro made that for us, because if you have an Apple phone, apparently you can't do memberships on your phone. So that's a way to do it. But again, if you'd like to donate to the channel, these are the best ways, or the link that's pinned to the top of the chat, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Those are all better ways to do so. All right, so back to what I was saying. So basically, she reached out to people and were like, can you take it down? I'm embarrassed that it came out. Like, okay, you're embarrassed that it came out. Were you embarrassed when you mean girled Esty with that video? Because I mean, you guys made it very clear that you weren't embarrassed that you were being mean girls. You were just embarrassed you were drunk. I'm not embarrassed when I get drunk. I'd be really embarrassed if I acted like a mean girl like that, because you will never find me in a video being like, this person sucks, F you, laughing and giving the finger like I'm a middle school girl who needed to do it because other people around me were doing it. Yeah, I'd be fully embarrassed if I did some shit like that. Thankfully, I don't do shit like that because I'm not a child, right? But she doubled down the day before yesterday on how she wasn't embarrassed. They weren't embarrassed. They were just embarrassed they were drunk. They were not embarrassed about the video itself or what it contained. So you're not embarrassed about that. You're not embarrassed about the Beery White account. You're not embarrassed about the Kevin Reddington account. You're not embarrassed about the Chris Albert 1993 account. All accounts, by the way, that she has admitted to privately to people, in which I have the proof of. So now all of those accounts she used to try to shame, humiliate, spread lies, spread hate, spread anger on people that her boyfriend at the time didn't like and that she didn't even know. Okay? So it's mean girl shit, right? Bottom line, it's literal childish mean girl bully behavior. But she didn't care. And as a matter of fact, what she did was laugh behind closed doors with other people about how funny it was that she was doing this on all these fake accounts. How hilariously funny it was. Now, I'm not one who usually puts out things like private messages or things like that. I don't normally do that, right? And had Meredith shown an ounce of give a fuck on the things that she has done to harm other people, maybe I wouldn't have posted it. But she hasn't. As a matter of fact, she doubled down on not giving a fuck the day before yesterday. Right? So, what in the actual hell? Am I going to show mercy to someone that showed no mercy to the people whose lives she was upending with her lies? The amount of emotional and mental harm she was causing people? I'm supposed to show mercy? See, sometimes, and rarely, but sometimes, the only way someone learns is by getting a taste of their own medicine. And I'm not a taste of your own medicine type person. I really would just rather be the bigger person and say, they'll fucking learn someday. Karma's a bitch and it will bite and the truth will come out. That's usually how I roll with things, because I don't want to waste my time and energy on shit that I know goes nowhere. But this was different, because the amount of pain and torture that these women have caused in other women's lives, and not only not gave a fuck, but laughed about it behind closed doors, knowing what they were doing was harming people, knowing what they were doing, knowing what they were saying was lies, right? Doing all of it and not giving a shit. On principle alone, I had to post it. Principle alone. If you're embarrassed that that pretty mundane text message between you and Aiden get out, but you still don't give a fuck about what you did to everyone else, still could give a care less in the world, speaks volumes about who you are. Now, make no mistake, as soon as I posted it, I got inboxed by a lot of people. Quite a few people either hinting that I should take it down or outright asking. And the answer is no, I'm not going to take it down. I don't care how many people ask. I don't care in how many different ways they ask. I don't care how many times they hint. I'm not taking it down. It's not happening. Did anybody give that grace to Lindsay with her full phone extraction? That you private pictures of her children and things that nobody is meant to see because it's private? Or did you stand behind a computer while your boyfriend put stuff out there and hand him things and giggle and laugh? Oh, that's right. You giggled and laughed while somebody's privacy was raped. Yeah, sure. Because it was funny to you. It was some sort of haha funny joke. Then you sat there and giggled and laughed some more when he took specific messages and took them completely out of their context to try to make them fit into his nonsensical, not real life conspiracy that never happened. And you went along with that too. You didn't care what kind of mental or emotional toll it took. And even after said breakup, even after dealing with all the things that you deal with that comes along with breaking up with that lunatic, which is pressure, threats, all sorts of it. We know how it works. Again, I'm friends with 3 of his exes. It's all the same every time. It's a pattern of behavior over and over and over. And for the person, by the way, yesterday that said to me, that doesn't even sound like him. It's not even the verbiage he uses. It's pretty funny because it is the verbiage he uses. It's actually the exact same thing he said to Lauren Murray the day he threw her out like trash during that Halloween party. He said, called her, said he was seeing Lindsay and he was going to bring Lindsay to the party. And then when she started trying to ask questions, then it was, Lauren, I don't have time to talk to you about this. Said the exact same thing. How do I know? Oh, that's right. Lauren called me crying as I was at the hotel getting ready for that Halloween party. This was years ago, obviously. And she was distraught. And I felt terrible for her. I felt awful for her because that is just really shitty, right? Really, really shitty. But then he went on to threaten Lauren and tell her to fix his relationship with Lindsay because Lauren and Lindsay had talked at some point after that, and Lauren had told the truth, but the truth was not what, Aiden wanted Lindsay to hear. So he demanded that both Kara and Lauren fix the relationship. Fix it. You guys broke it. You guys fix it. And this was in the very beginning, long before the end of it. You guys fix it. You need to go back and fix it. Well, Aiden, that was the truth. I don't care. Fix it. Do whatever you have to do to fix it. This is the same game that gets played over and over and over with real people's lives, right? And I felt bad for Lauren because that's really shitty to go through that, right? Like that's shitty. It's real shitty. Checked in on her, made sure she was all right, felt really bad, met her for brunch a couple days or 2 days later or something because I didn't get to see her at the party. Like I just felt terrible for her. Like it, but then I realized, wait a second, her and Deanna had no problem blaming me to Aiden about pictures that Deanna took and then sent to Lauren from the Halloween party of Lindsay. They blamed me. And so when Aiden went nuclear on me for not lying for him and these women, Lindsay specifically, finding things out that she might not have otherwise, she simply asked me where Lauren was. She said wanted to talk to her at the Halloween party. And I simply just answered it and said, well, Lindsay, I assumed she already knew. Why would you be asking me where Lauren is and you want to talk to her if you didn't know what just happened, right? Like, I assumed she knew already. So I'm like, why would Lauren come? She, I tried to get her to come anyway. She didn't want to come because you're going to be here. And Aiden just told her today you existed. So, would you want to come? And Lindsay's like, wait, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, well, it's not my job to fucking lie for him. It's not my job. I became public enemy number 1 in that moment. Talk to you later, Kenny. It just is, you know, like it just is. I have to think about like the cover he uses when he gives a reason on why he attacks people. And it's not the real reason on why he's attacking that person. It's the one that he gives the public so that it makes sense to them, right? They allowed me to be blamed for pictures I not only had never seen, didn't even know existed, okay? For months and months and months and months. And they did not tell Aiden that it was Deanna that took those pictures. They allowed me to be blamed, both Lauren and Deanna. They allowed me to be blamed. They allowed him to go on a fucking rage campaign. He flipped out. He lost his ever-loving mind and blamed me for taking those pictures. And that was a big thing with him and Lindsay arguing about it. So I was bad because I did that, even though I didn't do that. And when he came to me and said, I have evidence you did it, and I know you did it, I said, Aiden, stop. You cannot have evidence of something that didn't happen, sir. He didn't take pictures. I didn't send her pictures. So you can't have evidence of something that I did not do. Right? I have evidence. I'm just not putting it out. Okay, sure. Whatever you say. Once again, can't have evidence of something I didn't do. So for months and months and months, I'm public enemy number one. It's okay. Just we're still going to keep blaming Elise. No problem, right? What really bothers me about that is Lauren had expressed to me how hurt she was about all the harassment she received from the quote trolls, right? But she had no problem allowing me to receive that exact same harassment. So there are just some people I don't fucking feel bad for anymore. I don't fucking feel bad. I do not. Sorry, not fucking sorry. I can feel bad for basically almost anyone. I can accept an apology from basically almost anyone. Okay? There are just some people that A, don't fucking deserve it and will never get it from me. Meredith being one of those people. Lauren being one of those people. I've been owed apologies by them for a long fucking time. Never did I think that I would ever get it. I still don't think I would ever get it, but I wouldn't accept it if they bothered. They are not deserving of that in any way, shape, or form. Sorry, not fucking sorry. These are not good people. No matter how much they pretend to be in public, they are not good fucking people. And yes, that's what I heard. I heard is it they were calling someone else in to do a roast, but then I'm not sure how that works. It's supposed to be him and Auntie Deb. I don't know. That's what someone told me. And I'm like, how's that make sense? He's going to go ever crazy on someone who roasts him. That's insane. Like, he's going to take 2 or 3 days to think about how he was roasted and how he doesn't like it and how it hurted his ego. And then a couple days later, he's going to start taking shots at that person. So I don't know what person thought that was a good idea. Clearly, they don't know how narcissists work. You know? Yeah, I don't give him any watch time. Ever. People send me the screenshots and stuff. Or clips. I refuse to give him a view. Sorry, not sorry. Hey, girl. I bet you look fantastic this morning, though, Donna. All dressed up and fantastical. For some reason, I think them person with grant. I don't know what that means, Benny. I'm always on his chart. I mean, yeah, I'm in that. I'm public enemy number one, bro. You know, public enemy number one. Yeah, we need a B Tim day. Me and B Tim gotta have a B Tim day. I posted something that had already been posted by 2 people. So basically, I shared something that had already been posted by 2 people who then deleted it later on, which is, you know, the video was extremely cringe. That is like really some mean girl shit, you know, really. It's on X, of course, Jesse. I'll try to see, that's the problem is sometimes you can't save something from X and then send it off X. Like somebody has to be on X for you to be able to like send it to them when it comes to certain things, at least from your phone. From the computer, sometimes you can, but well, exactly. I mean, you're embarrassed, you're upset. Like, okay, cool. What do you think you've been doing to all these people all this time? And it's like, I don't ever like to be that kind of person that's like, you know what? Maybe they need a taste of their own medicine. Right? Like, but sometimes and in rare instances, there are people that really just need to see what they've done to other people and feel what they made other people feel for them to understand the damage that they've done. You know, it's unfortunate. Most people get it without having to do that. You know? I'm not saying it does, but again, it's not something I ultimately posted on my own by myself. Like, it was already posted by other people. I just put it in a post and reshared it, essentially. You know? Well, that's the thing is, you guys know I'm not one of those people that like usually post something like that, but it was already posted by a bunch of people, and then those people took it down after. So it's like it's real. I verified it. So, you know. And let's make something clear here. Most of the reason that all these private things are being shared is because Christy decided she was going to share them with the world. Somebody shared it with Christy, asking for advice basically on how to approach handling a situation with someone who was distraught, right? And in turn, Christy then took those private messages and shared them when she got mad at said person for no real reason. And then she shared a bunch of shit with a bunch of different people, right? And so ultimately, this whole I'm here to save everyone and I'm helping innocent people while she's actively harming like 50 plus innocent people a day is just all a fucking facade. Chrissy is patient zero. Okay. If you don't know what patient zero is, if you've ever worked in medical, it means like the source of an illness, the source of the pandemic. We had a patient zero here in Boston, the person that brought it here, right? She's literally patient zero when it comes down to why all this shit people are getting their hands on, you know? But that's the thing. Who the fuck gives me grace? Why the hell should I give anybody grace? The people that have, like, they learned on their own, like, wait a second, they were being lied to, you know? It's not my fucking job to give them grace. I don't owe them shit. And I'm kind of pretty much everyone on planet Earth, right? Like, pretty much anyone on planet Earth I could talk to or accept an apology, you know? There are just some people that will never, ever deserve for me to do that, you know? She was a girlfriend of his before Lindsay, you know? I don't know. That's a good question. Is it? Does anybody know if it's in Discord? If it's not, I'm gonna try to get it there. You have to just remind me after the stream because it's on X. It'd be hard for me to find right now to go through a bunch of stuff right now while I'm streaming. No worries, Benny. You have a good day, my friend. Those are still going. The witness intimidation cases are still going. He has another court hearing coming up this month, September. It's a lot, but it's a lot. It is a lot, you know? It goes very deep. And that's the part that people don't seem to understand is like some of these people just jump on X and are like, he would never do such a thing. And it's like, you do not know the human toll of all of this. You clearly do not know the ins and outs. And I think it's harder for some of us creators that know all this shit. But what I want to know is why the F are some of these creators sitting here acting like they don't know what I know? Why? Why are we doing that? Why is that? Is there, why? 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 Just asking for a friend. Because there's a lot of these FKR creators that know exactly what the F is going on here. And yet they remain silent. Why? One reason. Fear. Fear. They're afraid. They are afraid that if they speak up against cyberbullying and cyber harassment and the things that he's done that they know he did, or her for that matter, Meredith, that they will be harassed into oblivion themselves. And so they say nothing. And they do nothing. It's unfortunate. You know, it's unfortunate. They say and they do nothing also because, well, if they say anything about dear master, right? Then what happens? What happens at that point? Well, they lose followers, they lose money, right? So it's unfortunate. You do get to the point where enough is enough, right? And I reached that limit. Probably reached that limit a long time ago, but the audacity really just got me. The audacity of Meredith to send people to ask for it to be taken down because, you know, she's embarrassed or doesn't like it. Are you fucking serious? That complete lack of self-awareness and audacity at that point to me is amazing. You didn't care about the other people that you harmed, did you? You didn't care about the hate and vitriol of a mob that you sent after other people based on lies and false bullshit from your boyfriend. You laughed privately with people. You thought it was hilariously funny that you were torturing people with fake accounts, that you were saying awful, terrible, vile, disgusting things, but then publicly acting like you would never do such a thing. Who the deserves to give someone like that grace? And again, I can give pretty much anybody grace. Someone like that, I will never give that grace to. You do not effing deserve it. Sorry, not sorry. You've done so much harm to people, to good, innocent people. For what? Because your boyfriend didn't like them? I mean, there's over 300 of you currently watching me on X, which means one thing. Some of you are either blocked on my YouTube and can't comment here, so you choose to watch on X instead. Okay? Or you're people like Meredith who want to see what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say is this. Stop fucking being horrible mean girls, bro. Stop harassing people. Okay? It is not okay. Not only is it exhausting, okay? But it's like when you sit there, I can't imagine sitting there and laughing about someone's pain. It's not funny. It's not funny. But the fact that you caused that pain and then sat there and laughed about it. I didn't cause this text message to come out. Didn't cause that in any way, shape, or form. It was already out. I just reposted something that was already posted on X. And to make a point, because it's not something I normally would post. When is enough enough? It just irked me that the complete day before, she's saying how she's, not embarrassed of that Mean Girl video. None of them are embarrassed of it. They were all just embarrassed they were drunk. They weren't embarrassed about the mean things that they said and how mean it was. They were just embarrassed they were drunk. How could you not be embarrassed about the things that you said or the things that you were doing to that girl? You don't have to like her, but making up a whole story about why you don't like her for petty jealousy reasons that not only is so abundantly clear to most people, right? They don't need to know Esty or to know what the happened, okay? It's very abundantly clear that a lot of that was just petty jealousy. And it's not okay. Listen, I don't agree with Esty thinking that Karen Reed is innocent. We don't agree on that aspect. But guess what? She's still a fucking human and a person who deserves common courtesy and respect and compassion. If you didn't like her, you don't have to like her. Don't be friends with her. But what you don't have to do is go over the length of being a effing mean girl, making videos, spreading lies, creating stock accounts to harass and defame and make fun of her. That is over the freaking line. Way over the line. You got mad when you got one email sent to your kid's school? Why don't you times that by 100? Why don't you times that by weekly? Because that's what Lindsay deals with. You thought that was like totally hilariously funny, right? When the superintendent of her school is getting risque photos of her and her sexual text messages that you guys took from her extraction. And her kids' schools are getting them in emails weekly. For how long now? Continuing on? Superintendent, every teacher they could tag in that email, every politician in the town. But that was funny, right? That was hilariously funny. We're going to complain about one mundane email that was sent to your kid's school. Why don't you step into Lindsay's shoes and then tell me how the F it feels? Because you cheered it on. You clapped like a seal and you cheered it on and you thought it was funny. It's not fucking funny. It's never funny. That is. You don't have to like Lindsay. Cool. You don't have to. But did you have to go to those lengths? How would you like it if somebody went through every private moment you've ever had in your life and displayed it all over the internet? Oh, wait, you didn't like the one thing being displayed. Wonder how'd you feel if it was your entire phone extraction. Bet it wouldn't feel so good, would it? But yet we double down. We just say, hey, fuck it. Like, cool. That's all right. It's fine. We're gonna laugh about it anyway. We're gonna create more harm and chaos because my boyfriend doesn't like her and he says some grand conspiracy happened. So I just believe him, and I make this girl's life miserable, and anybody who sticks up for her is life miserable. Even though I don't know them, I'm just gonna pretend like they're bad because he told me that they're bad, so they must be bad. What about the countless people he told things about you to? Because I could go on and on and on about the things that he told people about you when you were dating, but I'm not because it's gross. Should everybody believe everything he said about you? I mean, self-reflection needs to happen here, right? And maybe it was a forced self-reflection. Or maybe it did nothing and she doubles and triples down and still thinks, that it's okay to happen to other people, just not her. I don't know. But what I do know is on principle, I'm not fucking taking it down. So there's that. I'm not fucking taking it down. If it was your family and your loved ones who are harassed into oblivion with fucking lies and falsehoods and fake accounts that she used, which she admitted to using those accounts later on to do those things, you wouldn't take it down either. Don't bother asking me. I'm not taking it down. Because the amount of people who have already asked me to take it down, I kindly explained to them why I would not, and they understood. But I'm not taking it down. Sorry, not sorry. I will not fucking apologize for standing my ground on this. Yeah, I mean, I will if they don't. I'll find it for you, Jesse. Just remind me via text message when I get off this because my brain and I have 100 other things to do and I will freaking forget. So if I forget, make sure you remind me and I will put it in the Discord for you because I will freaking forget. I really will. I will forget. Hold on. I think I'm getting an update on something else. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm not taking it down. I am not taking it down. It's not happening. It is not happening. That's a big fat no-go. Not happening. Not taking it down. So 75 people can ask me. It's not happening. Just on principle alone. I know you can't. I love your stinking face. Don't worry. No, I'm not taking it down. It's just on principle alone. Like on principle, the fuck alone. The fact that 2 other people took it down. Like, I'm not taking it the fuck down. It's not happening. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find something on this other topic that I'm going to be talking to you guys about. And it's clicking buttons I don't want it to click. What is happening here? What is happening? Hello, computer. There we go. What the hell is this? They put a whole new notes section in? Oh, cool. StreamYard, you guys are a-holes. We're changing shit around, unfortunately. All right. I'm going to move on in a second because this whole thing makes my head spin. But I do want to show you guys something. And you guys might be shocked that it hasn't been in the news. Because it's something that absolutely 100% should be in the freaking news. What is happening? Hello? Oh my God, X. No, I don't want X. No. Oops. Not trying to... TikTok. I'm trying to show you guys something on this. Perfect. Yeah, she wants to see what I posted If you can post it in the Discord, Casey, and then if you can find the Mean Girl video and post that, she wants to see that too. All right, so let's see. There's like an 8-minute video that I want to show you guys. And this is something that goes to federal corruption. Okay. Now, we know from the Karen Reed investigation that Josh Levy wasn't just so straight-legged, was he? He decided that he was going to allow to use his connections to harm people and do favors for people, right? The rich and famous. Do favors for the rich. Do some solids for them, right? Well, this one is going to blow your mind. I'm trying to get it to the beginning and then, God damn it. I'm going to have to just do it when I get it on the screen. So let's try it this way. Add to screen. Share screen with y'all. This woman's name is Amy Nelson. And what her family has gone through in the last 4 years is fucking deplorable. Now, there's a lot more to her story that I'm going to go over tomorrow. This is like the 8-minute version of what happened, and you are going to be effing floored. Now, when I say this is not the first case like this, and it won't be the last, I kid you not. We will go over some other cases that are exactly like this. And a former CIA agent who has done many podcasts and shows to talk about his, blowing the whistle on the CIA for their torture program and what the government tried and did do to him for being a whistleblower, which again, if you're a whistleblower, you're supposed to be protected. So let's watch. And this woman wasn't even, her family's not even whistleblower. They didn't even commit a crime. So isn't this the best? But again, if your name is Jeff Bezos, you're just apparently allowed to say a crime was committed even when it wasn't. And, the FBI will just help you out with that one. So let's unmute this shit and start from the beginning here.
Probably guess what? What Jeff Bezos and his lawyers have done to my family for the past 4 years should be on the front page of every newspaper in America, but it's not. I could probably guess why. A million of you have shown up in the past day and are asking, what happened? So I'll try to give you a quick summary. My husband, Carl, worked at Amazon Web Services, a subsidiary of Amazon from 2012 to 2019. He had Amazon's original employment agreement, which allowed him to do all sorts of things while he worked at Amazon. Jeff Bezos is like an avowed libertarian and wants people to be able to make money in a bunch of different ways. So he gave my husband the contractual right while he worked at Amazon to start a company and seek investors as long as they weren't investors in Amazon, and to work with businesses who were doing business with Amazon, so long as my husband's arrangement with those businesses wasn't substantially the same as Amazon's arrangement. You might think this is a weird employment contract. My husband didn't write it. Jeff Bezos and his lawyers did. And this is not just my random interpretation of the contract. This is the interpretation of federal courts in America. My husband worked in real estate for Amazon. He helped source land for Amazon to buy to build data centers on, or helped Amazon work with real estate developers who built shell buildings that Amazon would turn into data centers and lease. Around 2018, my husband decided that he was going to get ready to leave Amazon and he wanted to start his own real estate development company. Not at all competitive to Amazon at all, because Amazon doesn't sell real estate development. So that's not a competitive activity. Names the company Allcore, hires a lawyer, company gets incorporated. My husband gets his first investor. That investor had been involved with Amazon real estate transactions. How? That investor had worked with a real estate developer who built shell buildings that Amazon later leased for data centers. The investor earned money from the developer, wasn't Amazon's money, but would have been fine if it was Amazon's money. And after he earned that money, my husband learned he wanted to invest in my husband's new company to compete with the real estate developer he'd been working with before. Great. My husband leaves Amazon. His company is called Allcore, starts working with it, pitches deals to Amazon. Amazon knows about the company. And in fact, Amazon works with a ton of former employees who've gone into real estate development because they know how Amazon works on the inside. It's efficient. It's more helpful. It saves Amazon time and money. My husband ends up working with two developers to rezone land for data centers. My husband hopes that they're going to build data centers on this land and lease them to Amazon, but Amazon instead decides to buy the land, keeps the land, building data centers, has the land today. My husband's company generates significant revenue, And it's great. My husband's building his own real estate development company, which was his dream. I'm so proud of him. But then on April 2nd, 2020, the FBI knocked on our door 2 weeks into the pandemic. They told my husband he was the target of a federal criminal investigation in the Eastern District of Virginia. We lived in Seattle, so this is across the country. My husband had no idea what they were talking about. He had his lawyer call Amazon and say, hey, I'd like to speak to you. Amazon refused to talk to him unless he was planning to plead guilty to a federal crime. Husband wasn't charged with any crime. Federal prosecutors won't give my husband details. We're in the dark. It's terrifying. Then in May of 2020, the federal government, using civil forfeiture, seized every dollar in our bank accounts.
Civil
every
forfeiture is a joke.
My husband's businesses, our personal accounts, and mine, because my husband and I shared money. They also seized the money my husband had paid to lawyers. In civil forfeiture, you can take money from someone in America without charging them with a crime, let alone proving it. Just on the suspicion it's a crime. Ridiculous. My husband is like, what the hell? I have this employment contract that allowed me to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm doing real estate. What is the crime here? Amazon won't talk to him. Federal prosecutors won't talk to him. We have no money. We have 4 little girls. My youngest wasn't even a year old, and my oldest was 5.
They lost their house.
2 weeks after the government seized our money, there's a banging on our door at 6:45 a.m. There was 4 FBI agents with guns. We thought they were there to arrest my husband, but they were there to execute a search warrant. For months, federal prosecutors threatened to show up and arrest my husband some pre-dawn morning, so our 4 little girls would see him dragged out of the house, unless my husband would plead guilty to a crime. And here's what we eventually learned he was being accused of.
Not tell them what the crime is.
Amazon had gone to the DOJ and said that my husband was the central figure in the massive kickback scheme of millions of dollars and had defrauded Amazon. They said that the money the investor invested in my husband's company was a kickback, an illegal kickback, saying that my husband had violated his employment duties to Amazon and accepted a kickback.
He did.
Then they said these 2 real estate deals my husband did after he left Amazon were also a kickback. Like somehow my husband, when he didn't work at Amazon, was forcing Amazon into these real estate deals, which made no sense. Mind you, Amazon kept all of the real estate it was saying was a crime, was building data centers on all of this real estate and eventually making billions of dollars off of this real estate selling cloud computing. So they wanted the land, kept all the real estate. That wasn't the problem. But they said my husband had committed this massive crime. My husband's like, I did nothing. Please look at my employment contract. We then learned that Amazon had never given the DOJ my husband's employment contract.
So where did you get probable cause?
So what was their probable cause for a crime? If my husband was allowed to do this under an employment contract, they're going to say it's a crime.
Where's
then
the crime?
DOJ was just like, we don't think this activity was allowed under the employment contract. For 4 years, that was as much as they would say. We don't think this activity was allowed.
Too bad.
Is that because Amazon said it wasn't? Obviously. But you take Amazon's contractual interpretation of their contract and say it's a federal crime. We spent 4 years and $3.6 million proving my husband's innocence. Amazon sued my husband in civil court after he wouldn't plead guilty to a crime. My husband was never charged with any crime, ever. In civil court, a federal judge eventually held that my husband had acted on his contractual rights to do what Amazon said was a crime, and also tossed out Amazon's racketeering allegations. They said my husband was like part of a mafia racketeering ring.
So ridiculous.
Unjust enrichment, fraud, all of it. Judge tosses it out, leaves in like one small state law claim that we're still fighting with Amazon about, but nothing to do with a crime. And the DOJ eventually then says, well, actually, we have these 4 alleged co-conspirators of your husband that have pled guilty to crimes. And we're like, what? But then the DOJ says, but we're going to dismiss 2 of those guilty pleas, and then we're going to take the extraordinary, unprecedented step in American history of vacating 2 federal criminal plea agreements because they're not in the interest of justice, because no crime happened.
No crime happened.
So the Department of Justice ran a 4-year investigation, raids in multiple states, accusing all these people of federal crimes, destroying businesses because Amazon said a crime happened, and eventually was like, JK, never mind, no crime happened. What about the millions of dollars we spent proving my husband's innocence? In America, apparently, if you're Jeff Bezos, you can go and tell the FBI that a former employee of yours committed a crime, and they're just going to unleash hell on that guy. And I hope you can survive it. I guess that was like the end of it.
That's why.
We did get the money back from the DOJ. We had to promise not to sue the DOJ in order to get the money back.
That's illegal.
But, the issue now is that no one at Amazon has been held accountable for what they did. We can prove that Amazon's lawyers lied to the Department of Justice about my husband's employment duties because we found an unsealed search warrant affidavit in court of me looking through court records. And Amazon said my husband wasn't authorized to do any of the real estate development work he did. Just like because Jeff Bezos said he wasn't authorized, because it's funny because Jeff Bezos gave him a contract saying he was explicitly authorized. There's so much more to this story, but it has been truly horrifying. And I think more than anything, you know, aside from the fact that we lost our home, we lost businesses, we lost our friends, we lost the city we lived in because we had to move and live with family. You know, I don't want to live in an America where a billionaire can really do what Jeff Bezos' lawyers did to try to put my husband in prison. Amazon hired former federal prosecutors to lobby their former colleagues to try to put my husband in prison, and no one has been held accountable. And at this point, that's really what I'm seeking and looking for. You may tell me I'm shady, my husband did something wrong. I don't even know what wrong means. People, like, there are laws, there are contracts. My husband broke no law. My husband didn't break his Amazon contract. And I don't think in America, employers should try to put employees in prison over employment contracts, especially when they don't break them. So that's the 8-minute summary of what's happened to my family. Amazon has refused to speak to my husband ever. And
Shocker.
There's some pretty scandalous stuff I haven't shared with you here but eventually will, including the words of one of the men who pled guilty to a federal crime and what he has to say about it after the DOJ vacated his plea. Because it was pretty interesting what he said when he called me. And if you've watched till the end, that's the part that's going to stick with you, when he called me. But go ahead and look it up. See how often the DOJ vacates plea agreements. It's not in the interest of justice. It doesn't happen. New York Times article from a few years ago when General Michael Flynn's plea was vacated, and I'm not saying anything about Flynn, federal prosecutors couldn't think of a single other instance in American history when the Department of Justice voluntarily vacated a plea. And here we had 4. I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment. Please don't leave bullying comments. I'm not going to respond to them. My mental health will not let me do it anymore. But yeah, that's what happened to my family. So there's.
Okay. So I just muted it real quick. So here's the thing, because I'm going to show you something else real quick in a second that she has up. The DOJ doesn't just vacate guilty pleas of things, right? Jeff Bezos lobbied people who had worked in the Department of Justice to do his bidding, essentially. Okay. Now, this family spent $3.6 million in 4 years fighting when they had still been charged with no crime this entire time, not charged with a crime the entire time. They were threatened. Their money was frozen. Their assets were taken. They lost their home. They had to live with family, but they still had $3.6 million. She's a lawyer, an entrepreneur herself, and a writer. So, you know, she at least was making money. Most people do not have that kind of money to fight the DOJ with their raids and their civil forfeitures and them threatening you for 4 years. Even if you haven't been charged with a crime, most people do not have that kind of money. So when they are threatened to plead guilty to a crime they didn't commit, they do it. They just plead so that they don't have to lose their home that their family will live in and $3.6 million, because most people don't have $3.6 million to fight, right? You just lose to the DOJ and the FBI. And they don't just vacate things, right? There were 4 that were vacated. 4, because they're not in the interest of justice. Now, when did that happen, you say? Well, only when politics changed hands. Interesting. Now, wasn't it only when politics changed hands that Josh Levy was basically out, Leah Foley was in, and Leah Foley decided that she was going to start fixing some of the shit that Levy did when he started giving out favors to his buddies on who to investigate? Kind of similar, no? I mean, this should be on the front news of every mainstream media outlet from here to Kalamazoo, okay? This entire thing should be a huge news story. Why isn't it? I can answer that for you. Mainstream media is not going to put this story out there. It is not in their best interest. It is their buddies, their people who they work with, their sources, their donors are all people from the Department of Justice, the FBI, all of these different entities. So the big wigs, the other billionaires that own these media companies like Fox or MSNBC, any of the big media companies, they all work with some of these people, right? They're not going to put a story like this out. They're going to catch and kill it. If anybody brings it to them, they're going to pay that person to not talk about it. Catch and kill. something they've been using for decades. Okay. Decades. So that is, and when I came across this story, I thought to myself, like, this is exactly why my channel exists. Like, good for this family for fighting, but they had the $3.6 million, whether they borrowed it or they had it or whatever, they still had it to spend to fight. Most people don't, right? No, I think you're thinking of Elon Musk, but he wasn't in the cabinet. He was just doing that one thing, but I think that's who you're thinking of. As far as I know, he's not. But nobody should have that kind of power. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, no one. You're a billionaire. You're not a freaking politician. You should not have the power to just call the DOJ and FBI and be like, oh, this employee of mine, even though they have a contract that I'm not going to tell you about, committed a crime because I said so, and I just want to bury them so they go away. Like, what? Hold on a second, guys. I have to answer this call. Sorry, that was my doctor, and I needed to answer that. So yeah. So ridiculous, right? Absolutely freaking ridiculous and absurd. I can't. I literally can't. That this is allowed to happen in America. Okay? How corrupt can you get? You spend now I want to show you guys real quick something else. Okay? Let me see if I can find it here. I don't know. Okay, here it is. Ready? Oh, crap.
Not just for your families, but your families deserve so much. Fight because I know it was for all of us, not just for your families. Fight because I know it was for all of us.
We're going here to
not
the beginning.
Fight because I know. Fight because I know.
Come on, why isn't it going all the way back?
Fight because I know it was for all of us. Not
Okay,
just
cool. Maybe it'll just replay. I don't know why it's not
your
going
families
back.
Deserve so much.
Like, come on.
Fight because I know it was.
It's
for all
only
of us.
starting from the middle.
Fight because I know it was for all of us.
Why? That's weird. I'm not understanding. Why is it starting in the middle like that? That's weird.
Fight because I know it was for all of us.
You're going to have to go through.
What's the one? I have some breaking news out of the FBI that I wanted to share with you. Years ago, if you're new to my story, Jeff Bezos accused my husband, a former Amazon employee, of a crime. The DOJ never charged my husband, yet we had to spend 4 years to prove his innocence. We battled civil forfeiture where the government took all of our assets. The FBI raided our home. We lost that home and so much more. Along the way, I went on a television show and I met an FBI agent named Steve Friend who had been suspended for reporting abuse of resources by the FBI to his superiors. Like his security clearance was revoked. He was suspended.
You want a rabbit hole?
No pay, out the door.
This is your rabbit hole for the day, folks.
Steve friended me, and he taught me how to stand up and fight. He fought for my family publicly. And later I met his friend, Garrett O'Boyle, who was also suspended by the FBI for years. And Garrett, like me and my husband, Garrett and his wife have 4 little girls. They spoke out publicly for my family, even when it could have been detrimental to their fight to rejoin the FBI. It didn't matter to them. They were men who just did what they believed was right and just. And I learned a lot from them, both about integrity, but also about the way the Department of Justice works. Well, today, after all these years, Steve Friend and Garrett O'Boyle have been reinstated to the FBI with full back pay, benefits, and more. I am so proud of them for never giving up. I'm grateful to them for their friendship, but it gives me a lot of hope. I could really cry about it, that the FBI did reinstate these guys after they spoke out publicly about, bad actions at the agency, and they could have been left behind. It's not like this was in the national media every day,
Nope.
but they weren't. They were reinstated, and that means something to me. It means that perhaps there's justice for more of us who have been wronged by the agencies that are supposed to protect us. So today, I congratulate Steve Friend and Garrett O'Boyle and the other whistleblowers who were reinstated. Thank you for your fight, because I know it was for all of us, not just for your families. But your families deserve so much. I have some breaking news.
So these two and a couple other FBI agents who were whistleblowers were reinstated after years of fighting because they had spoke out against really shady shit that was going on in the FBI that should not have been going on, right? Appreciate you, Michael. The Mean Girls video. We'll try to put. Are you in the Discord, Holly? It's a video that Meredith, Deanna, and Lauren made at Deanna's wedding, nonetheless. Saying F you to SD and giving her the finger and calling her names. It's really just trashy. Like, it's a trashy Mean Girl video, realistically. No, I mean, who the hell does that? But back to my point here, which is these, like she said, these agencies are supposed to be here to protect us. And what happens when these agencies are no longer protecting us? What happens when the stories of the corruption are lost and the mainstream media won't cover them? What happens? I was going to say we're going to put them in Discord so you can see what we mean. Otherwise they're on X, but if you don't have Discord or X, they're not on YouTube. But what happens when the mainstream media kills these stories? They're not going to cover them. For what? And I know what she means, right? Like, I, to my own detriment, have been speaking out for quite some time now. I knew when I opened my mouth on all of this that I would pay dearly for it. And I have. And I keep paying dearly for it. But if I don't, what kind of person does that make me? If I just sit there and say nothing and do nothing, makes me just as bad. It makes me just as bad as the person doing it. If I just sit there and allow it to happen, I have a platform where I can speak out, where I can say this behavior is not acceptable, where I can say this corruption or this stinks to high heaven, or this victim is not getting the rights that they deserve or they're afforded, or the protections they're afforded. And I have a platform where I can use my free speech to say something's not right here. Even if it's against a mob of lunatics who then harass my life into oblivion and cause mass chaos. But I will not be silenced. I will not be bullied. I will not be threatened. Listen, I've gotten death threats by the bunches. I am not going to just go away. Okay? It's not going to happen. I will keep speaking out. I will keep doing all of the work that I do when I am not streaming to make sure that a law is put in place that makes sure that this kind of shit can't happen to people. That if you're a witness or a victim, that you have actual protection from this kind of behavior. This kind of FBI corruption this woman's dealing with is something that we have dealt with most states, but we have dealt with recently when it came to the U.S. Attorney's Office. You know? This whole thing, all of the abuse that people have taken for the last 3 years is partly the DOJ and the U.S. Attorney's Office to blame. Why? Because they decided a favor was more important than innocent victims and witnesses, which in turn made victims out of people like me who decided that they weren't going to sit back and allow it to just happen. Where does the FBI or the U.S. Attorney's Office, where does the Department of Justice take any goddamn accountability for the shit that they have done? In order for this woman to get her belongings, her cars, and her bank accounts back from civil forfeiture from the U.S. Attorney's Office or the DOJ, they made her agree to not sue them. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not legal. Like, you can't say, hey, we'll give you back all your shit if you sign this paper here that says you won't sue us. That's if you don't do this, we're basically not going to give you your shit back. Or you can spend years fighting in court to get it back, which is how they kind of get you, which is like, oh, well, you didn't have to sign it. You could have fought for years in court to get your stuff back instead. Knowing people need it, that's how they try to dupe you. I don't care. I would have fought that. I'd have thought that I'm going to sue the. Okay, yeah, I signed that paper to get my money back, but I signed it under duress, which makes it null and void under the law. Right? I signed it under duress. You cannot say, oh, hey, we'll give you all your civil forfeiture, all your assets back after you've lost your home and pretty much everything else and say, oh, yeah, we'll give it back to you if you sign this paper saying you won't sue us. No, F that. Not only am I suing you, I'm suing Amazon, I'm suing Jeff Bezos in his personal fucking capacity and anybody else that had a hand in any of this. How does this family and the other families that dealt with this get justice? It's a damn good question now, ain't it? Because when is the DOJ or the U.S. Attorney's Office going to be held responsible for the goddamn harm that they caused by doing favors for their buddies, for their billionaire buddies, for their millionaire buddies, for their, business owner buddies, for their politician buddies? When the fuck does it end? Because at this point, there's more corruption in our government than there is government actually doing anything for any of us. The things that are meant to protect us no longer do. They just don't. It's that simple. And if people like us don't speak out, then people just ignore it and hope that it gets better. I promise you, ignoring it will not make anything get better. I tried that. A lot of people have tried that. It does absolutely nothing. If we do not say something, if we do not get these stories out there to the masses, to people who should be disgusted by them, so that they're so disgusted that they speak out, and we create a lot of noise and make it very uncomfortable for a lot of really high-powered people, nothing will ever get done. The only way that anything ever gets done is if you make it uncomfortable for them and you hit it where it hurts, their pockets, their money. Right? It's unfortunate, but the world revolves around money. That's what billionaires and millionaires, politicians, that's what they care about, money. Everything is about money. I would trade all the money in the world for my kids' health. I would trade it all. I would trade all the money in the world for my health. Like, I would trade all of it. I'm just one person from Massachusetts, one person who has done a lot of volunteer advocacy and advocacy in general, one person who's talked to lawmakers, spent years doing it. But I know that many people can make a difference. I might not be able to do it alone. But how many more families need to be like this? How many more families need to deal with what my family has or what any of the other victims have? How many more families have to deal with a corrupt system, doing favors for their buddies and destroying hundreds of innocent lives by doing that favor for their lawyer buddy to get their client off a murder charge? Or that favor for Jeff Bezos so he can squish a competition? I mean, what's it going to take? Well, I'll tell you what it's not going to take. It's not going to take everybody sitting silently on their hands. It's just not. If you don't think that it's okay that something like this happened to your family, then you shouldn't think it's okay to happen to someone else. It's really that simple. If you think that harassment is okay in the way that the sewer turtle has done it, then you're basically saying you're okay with all of that happening to your family. Because let's be real. if any of this shit happened to them, they'd be straight at the police station saying it is a crime. But because it's not happening to them, it's okay because it's someone they like to follow. It's the sewer turtle. No, it is not okay to happen to anybody, anywhere. If you're defending that, then you're okay if it happens to you. It's really that simple. You're willing to say, hey, all of that can happen to me, and I expect everyone else to just say it's the First Amendment. Also, let's be clear that a judge struck down the fact that it is not First Amendment protected activities. It went far beyond First Amendment. Okay? So all the people who are like, you just was asking questions. Nope, false. That is so blatantly and willfully ignorant. Just asking questions. Really? Was plotting behind the scenes privately to do X, Y, and Z? Is that just asking questions? Because that goes far beyond asking questions. Sorry, not sorry. You know, is duping people on purpose and lying to them on purpose and then laughing about it, saying they'll believe anything you say and they'll give you all the money, even if you sit there and call them names? I mean, you're okay with that? Because ultimately, that's what's going to come out. You're okay with families like this being torn apart and losing their homes with their 4 small children and the FBI raiding their home for no crime that's ever been committed? For Amazon to complain about something that they gave a specific contract that they could do? Not even anything. That's a crime. And then it not only happening to one family, but it happening to numerous families. For FBI agents who blow the whistle on this kind of behavior to be punished by being ousted, suspended for years at a time, or given such a shitty job in the agency that it's the equivalent of being sent to the desert. Same thing happens to officers. They'll just send you out to Western Mass if they don't like that you told on corruption. You know, you'll just get sent out there. When does it end? Right? When? At what fucking point? The FBI, the DOJ, the U.S. Attorney's Office. Nobody should have the kind of power to crush a family who's committed no crime because Jeff Bezos needed a fucking favor, or because David Yannetti needed a favor, or because Alan Jackson needed a fucking favor. Did I miss a comment? Did I miss it? Yeah. You can just bounce them if they say bullshit. I must have missed it. Either way, look at how effective that was, troll. I didn't even see it. Didn't even see it, Trollzilla. Didn't even see it. Also, I don't know why they bother, honestly. Like, for you to come in here and say some nonsensical bullshit that not only doesn't make sense, but is just like a total, like, I'm gonna simp for fucking shitty behavior. You're just gonna get blocked and banned, and then you're gone. Like, what was your point of doing the finger push-ups to write it to begin with? Like, my mods or I are just gonna boop, bye, see you later. Like, go watch someone that you enjoy. Okay, go watch that clown show. You're not invited here. We don't like you. Okay, thank you. It was mean. Yeah, shocker. They're always mean. They just say shit that's nonsensical too, like, get a job. I have a job, dumbasses. Or they say something like, stop being poor. Yeah, you know what? I'll get right on not spending on my kids and medical and clothes. I'll do that. No problem. I'll get right on that. I'll just abandon all my responsibilities and not actually pay my bills, and then I'll have money, right? Like, I mean, that shit they say is so nonsensical and fucking absurd. And it's funny to me because if they actually knew who over in their FKR camp is actually giving apologies to me, they wouldn't come in here and say some of the shit that they say. It's just sad. It's really just fucking sad. And it's like, you know what? Joke's on you. When you find out the shit that's happened that you've been duped into believing, like, don't come crying to me. Don't come crying to me when you say shit like that. Yeah, you got the clicky fingers. Clicky fingers. I mean, at what point, though, are we, like, not okay with some of this shit? Like, we have to not be. Oh, also, from the last show that I had, which was Friday, I think, I didn't see it until after the show, but Joy had sent a $25 donation that I didn't see until after the show. So I wanted to thank Joy. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate you, my friend. Aiden's never going to prison. Actually, he is, Erin. Also, darling, does this look like a migrant hotel, honey? Does this look like a migrant hotel? You're a fucking idiot. Just FYI, you're a fucking moron. I'm pretty sure anybody who's been to my massive yard outside knows this is no migrant hotel, but you're a dumbass. Just FYI. You think they let you run shows with multiple computer screens and lights and put up your own signs in a migrant hotel? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, lady? Oh my God, you guys saying some of the most ridiculous, nonsensical bullshit I've ever heard in my fucking entire life. Oh my God, most of you guys have seen like the vines and flowers that I have set up in my living room. Like, it's funny to me because they embarrass themselves with the shit that they say. Like, oh, Aiden's never going to jail. And how's the migrant hotel? Ma'am, does this look like a migrant hotel? Maybe I should go tell my neighbors that we live in a migrant hotel. I mean, I live in a very quiet street, so I think I think everyone else who lives here disagrees that we live in a migrant hotel. All of my neighbors on the streets, this one and that one, definitely don't agree with you, lady. Migrant hotels don't normally let you, like, have an apartment. Usually it's like one room, right? Like, I'm in my office. This is a whole extra room. I have my own signs up. Like, maybe 1 + 1 doesn't usually equal 2 in your brain, and sometimes you need help with that, Erin, but let me help you with that, darling. I'm in my own apartment, darling. I'm in my own house. Aiden is going to jail eventually. Sorry that you're mad about it and stuff. Sorry you cannot come to terms with it and stuff. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe one day, maybe one day you will figure it out. But let me ask you something, Erin. Did that make you feel better? Did the finger push-ups make you feel better? Did saying shit that's just blatantly not true make you feel better? I'm just wondering. Did it make you feel good? Because you're the only one who looks like an idiot, realistically. I usually do too. I usually have the trigger finger, but she had it today. But misery does love company. I mean, how dumb do you have to be to say some stupid ass shit like that? It's like, you make yourselves look fucking stupid. Like, you literally make yourselves look stupid. I have an entire studio room going on here. Like, oh, you think the migrant hotel gave me an extra room to, like, hey, you can make your own studio, no problem. We don't need that room for someone else. Like, what the actual fuck are you talking about? It's amazing to me the stupid ass shit they'll say. Literally. Like, does common sense ever click in your heads? Or, I mean, I'm just wondering. And then y'all just give me a good laugh. Like, thank you, Trollzilla, for giving me the chuckle of the day on how fucking stupid you are. Oh, man. Oh, well, that's because YouTube also knows when trolls pop in and hold things for review. So thanks, YouTube. We appreciate you. Fucking dumbasses. It's like, I don't know why you people bother. It's like the people that write like horrific comments on my videos that I literally just hit the button that's hide from channel. So not only are they blocked and they're hid from the channel, but they'll keep commenting on things because they don't realize that they're hidden and no one on planet Earth can see them, and that YouTube no longer alerts me because they're not there. YouTube just kicks their comments out. So they don't ever show up. So they keep writing them, right? On every video I make, and like YouTube will be like, it was a person who was hidden attempted to, put a thing, and YouTube just automatically out it goes because you're blocked and hidden from the channel itself. And they keep going. Like, so they'll write like these paragraphs that never make it onto the video and don't even fucking realize it's never ever going. No one sees it. Like, you're the only one. You spent however long it took you to write that ridiculous, nonsensical fucking paragraph that nobody saw. Like, yay, go you. Go you. I mean, maybe. I mean, I am Spanish, so I use a lot of sazon. and adobo on things. Maybe they do believe. I mean, they do believe some ridiculous shit. I mean, come on. Realistically, I mean, the shit that comes out of their mouth sometimes, I'm like, you need to fix your meds. Like, you need to fix your meds, seriously. Oh yeah, maybe she can, maybe he's got applications out for crazy people. I mean, I think Christie would win that crazy by like $1 billion. So, if there are applications, she probably shredded them all. They're part of the conspiracy. They're a conspiracy. My name is Crazy. I named my houseplants. This is houseplant number 1. Its name is Erin. It's not very smart. This is houseplant number 2. Its name is Richard. It's Richard. Like, this is the level of we're dealing with here. Like, sky high cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, folks. Like, I couldn't fucking make this shit up if I tried. Like, you literally can't make some of the shit up that these people fucking say and do. It is absolutely amazing to me. So one more video here I'm going to show you guys from Amy Nelson here. A recent one. This is when they got their stuff back. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to play her Labor Day message because I feel like it didn't get enough views. It's only got 20,000 views, but I feel like it's one of those where it's kind of like he can go F himself.
Having had to sell my house in Seattle that I worked my ass off for decades to buy because you and your lawyers falsely accused my husband, a former employee, of a federal crime. Now, what your lawyers had done, they had involved your company in breaking a contract worth $500 million. The only way they could break that contract with a landlord was if the landlord pled guilty or was convicted of a felony. So your lawyers came up with this insane scheme to break the contract and then accuse the landlord of a federal crime to DOJ the next day, 8 hours after they secretly broke the contract. They didn't tell DOJ about the contract, no, but they said that the landlord had paid kickbacks to my husband, a former employee. That never happened. But because your army of lawyers did that, who you paid like $100 million to, my family had to spend years fighting to prove not only was my husband innocent, he had in fact abided by the terms of an employment contract you wrote that you also hid from the DOJ. Your lawyers are really good at hiding shit, which isn't really surprising considering how your lawyers just admitted that you and other executives at Amazon deleted signal messages during the federal government investigation. Yeah, signal. That's the FTC case out of the Western District of Washington, if any journalist cares. Anyway, on this Labor Day, I'm thinking about how I spent years paying my husband's lawyers millions of dollars, quite literally millions of dollars, that I labored for, that I, as a female founder, one of the rare women who raised venture capital, had to spend all of my time working to pay lawyers. I'm still paying off my law school loans, and I had to spend that money on lawyers. The other amazing thing is that I had to spend that money on lawyers after the Department of Justice used civil forfeiture, generally used for drug lords, to seize all of my family's assets when you accused my husband of a crime. Yes, my husband was never charged with your allegations, not charged with a single crime, but the federal government took every dollar we had out of our bank accounts. They didn't freeze it, they literally took it. That is the power you have, Jeff Bezos.
That's why you shouldn't keep all your money in a fucking bank account.
Proud. Not only did they take the money my husband had legitimately earned, including money you paid him, money he made from the sale of Amazon stocks that were part of his compensation, money he earned after he left your employ and worked on his own in a non-competitive business. After you seized all that money, the DOJ seized money from my bank account, my personal bank account, because my husband wired me money. So you took the money that I had earned as the founder of the Riveter. We had 4 little girls to feed, but the lawyers didn't give a shit. In fact, prosecutors said the only way we could have some of that money back was if my husband pled guilty to lies. So this Labor Day, I'm a little pissed. Because in America, I thought if you worked hard and earned money, aside from taxes, you got to keep it. But not if you want it, Mr. Bezos. You can get the government to take it. I wish you would right this wrong, where I live after having had to sell my house in Seattle that I worked my ass
Make no mistake, he'll never right that wrong. Jeff Bezos doesn't care. He's one of the richest people on planet Earth. Why would he care? He can buy whatever he wants, including the DOJ. That's a fucking problem, folks. It's an absolute fucking problem. It should be a problem for pretty much anyone on planet Earth. Now, we're going to delve a little more into this case tomorrow. I have reached out to Amy to see if maybe she wants to come on and have a conversation about what she's been through, because I think it's an important conversation to have. I also have a guest for later on this week where we're going to get some pretty good stories of a retired Fed from an entity in the federal government. So hold on to your hats, folks. We got an interesting week coming. That's for sure. We have been on for almost 3 hours, so I am going to end it with this. I love your stinking faces. And if you can, I am just a small channel. I would really appreciate the support. We need the support. We're having a hard time because we're not a channel that has 30,000 subscribers. We're still just a little guy, right? Trying to work our way up in this world. And because we didn't feed into propaganda and because we spoke out, we paid the price for that dearly. And that includes in subscribers and in dollars. So if you can, we would really appreciate it if you could donate. And we don't care if it's $1 or 10 or 20. It's rare it goes above that, but it's always appreciated. And you can do so one of a bunch of different ways. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Revolut. The information's on the bottom of your screen. It's in the description of the video. And there is a link in chat that's also in the description of the video that you can click on, and you can use a credit or debit card for that. Instead of a payment app like PayPal or Venmo or Cash App. There's a ticker at the bottom of the screen that ticks by all the time that has all that information on it. So if you're on my replay crew, it's there. It's in the description of the video as well, along with the link. You can like, you can share, and tell people we exist. Bring more viewers here. We would love to grow this community, and I need your help. I can't do it alone. So with that, I love your stinking faces, and get ready for more corruption that we are going to be exposing that the mainstream media refuses to talk about. Amy's family was not the only one who went through this at the same time. And I find the timing and the correlation to be pretty telling, right? We have a bunch of other cases we're going to go over too. We have some missing persons cases we're going to talk about, some cases that don't get a ton of attention. And it's time that when the mainstream media ignores things, that we bring it to light. So hold on to your hats. I'm hoping to get Brad on it sometime too. Amy Bradley's brother. I've talked to Brad. He's very kind. And so just hold on to your hats. I'm going to start bringing in shorts at some point to the channel. We're going to up our, options of merch and try to find a different store that does better stuff for you guys. I'm going to make a shirt and a couple things that literally say, I love your stinking faces. So I love y'all. I do love your stinking faces. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Everybody have an amazing day. Love you. Bye.